You are now watching the Ball and Beats podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 116 of the Ball and Beats podcast. I have Spencer with me, and we also have two new guests here on today with us. We have James to my right and Cam to my left. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
What's up? Good, man.
Doing good?
Let's talk some ball.
Talk some ball?
Talk
That's
some
exactly
ball.
what we're
I would agree with James right there. Let's just talk some ball.
Let's just talk some ball. Spencer, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing good. You know, it's football season, but here we are talking basketball. So,
Well, as he said, you know, for some people, it is now basketball season.
I wonder why.
We're not going to get into that just quite yet. We'll get into that later in the show. But we're going to start off here with our basketball segment. As it is preseason NBA basketball, season starts up next week. You know, we have some predictions here that we have for you later on here in the graphics. But I want to start off talking about maybe some sleeper teams, I think, this year in the NBA season. James, let's start off with you. Is there any sleeper team that you think people should watch out for?
Grizzlies and the Pelicans for sure.
Grizzlies and the Pelicans?
I always thought for the Pelicans, I always thought they were a sleeper team. Like they just got to put the pieces together. You know, you got the good wings, like you got Herb Jones, and you got Trey Murphy who could shoot, obviously. Then obviously it's just about Zion. Like,
yeah. What do you think about Brandon Ingram and his role? Do you think he's eventually going to be on the trade block this season?
I mean, what do you trade him for?
That's true.
I mean, I could see, like, depending on the Pelican season, obviously, if they like go on a run and they're like one of the top 5-4 teams in the West, then they shouldn't. But like if they're like starting to fall off and do what the Pelicans normally always do, is be an average team, because Zion can't be on the court because he's got all this stuff going on off the court, and Brandon Ingram is good, but he's not great anymore. They have some pieces, like you said, with Herb Jones, and you know I do like the pieces the Pelicans have, but they just seem to never put it together. And with Memphis, it all depends on how Ja Morant responds. He had a lot of off the court stuff going on last year, and I think Ja Morant is one of the best guards in the league when he's healthy and when he is playing like he should be. And last year he had the suspension. He had a lot of off the court stuff and a lot of drama. And I think this year, Memphis was off last year, rightfully so. It's their franchise player.
Last year was because he was injured. He came back from all the drama.
Yeah, he came back and was
injured
injured.
right away.
Yeah, but if he's gonna come back healthy, no suspension, I agree with those. I could see them making a run.
Yeah, I feel like with the Pelicans, I feel like they didn't make any real move to become much better, to really stand out in the West. DeJounte Murray does not move the needle for me. That doesn't. I mean,
he's good though.
He's a good player.
I think he's a real point guard for them,
averages.
though.
I think
Yes.
he's gonna average 15 or 16. He's a good guard, and they have one of the best 2 forward duos in the league when healthy. Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson is very underrated, and it is really good.
It is. They are. I mean, back to Memphis though. I like that roster a lot. I think Memphis, to me, I think they make the postseason. I think they make a massive postseason run. That's all hinging on Ja Morant and his availability, though, because, as you said, last year he was injured. The year before he had a lot of the off-the-court problems. I like the roster that's built around them. Desmond Bane, very, very solid piece.
Yep.
Vince Williams Jr., shout out Toledo, Ohio. Great player on that roster as well. What? I saw the eye roll over there, James.
Huh? I don't got nothing to say.
Got nothing to say? All right. But yeah, I think those are good options there. Spencer, what about you?
You know, I really think the Detroit.
I'll tell you, I know someone who does think the Detroit Pistons.
They're going to be okay. They have to be better. They have to be
Tobias
better
Harris.
this year. I do like what JB Bickerstaff brings to the team, and I do think if you look at and we're not going to talk about Pistons because who the hell cares about the Pistons? They suck. But they look better. They have more spacing. Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey look a lot better, and they look like they just look so much better. They have better rotations. And Cade Cunningham is the main problem with this team last year is Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey could not coexist in the backcourt. They look like they can now. And I think that's really going to help this team. Now, are they going to make the playoffs? Hell no. This team's going to win 30 games maybe. But they got to do something this year. They got to at least make an improvement, so we'll see, and don't get the 5th pick. But in terms of teams that I think are sleepers, I mentioned this to you on the radio last week. And I'm signaling to something to one of our future awards. I'm really high on the San Antonio Spurs this year.
Stole my pick.
I'm really high on the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama had one of the best rookie seasons anyone's ever had. It's up there with LeBron. It is. Because he could have and probably should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. I don't think that's a question. At least in my opinion, he's going to win it this year because he's just going to keep improving because of how good he is. And San Antonio has some supporting cast pieces to where, do I think they're going to be like a top 5 seed? No, but they will make the play-in.
Yeah.
I do think that they can make a run in the playoffs. I don't think they win it or anything like that or like make a deep run, but I do think they can at least win one round because San Antonio, they're building the right way, and Victor Wembanyama is one of the brightest stars in this league. 20-10 in your first year is unbelievable. And he was one of the best defensive players in all of basketball last year, and signals to one of my future awards, but that's something for later.
Yeah. We had an episode a long time ago talking about Victor Wembanyama and the hype that was brought
I was
on.
wrong.
We were very wrong about
I was so
that.
wrong.
And it wasn't even necessarily, like it wasn't bad about him or nothing.
No.
It was just the hype that was around Victor Wembanyama coming out. It was just, we had to see it.
People told me that if he wasn't at least Hakeem Olajuwon, that he was a bust. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. This is unfair to the kid. And he went out there, had the best rookie season any players had in a long time. And San Antonio is going to be set for a long time.
You think they're gonna make the play-in though?
I have them making
Dude,
the
you
play-in
can
as
win
well.
38 games and make the play-in.
I mean, I get it, but it's a lot of people in the West. I don't know about.
No, I know.
I think the West is very stacked.
The West
Very
is
low
the
down.
West is more deep than the East. I will say that.
sure.
But I think that with it's a lot of parity in the NBA. The top half has been kind of the same the past few years, but towards the middle of the pack and the bottom of like the 10 seed, I can see teams just go up and down on it. So
Yeah, there's a lot of teams in the West that we can even talk about. There's probably 6 or 7 teams out West that could easily make the finals.
Yep.
But there's also, I think, 2 of them that's in that category I could also see completely missing the playoffs entirely.
Yep.
Indeed.
Even the play-in.
Yeah.
Just on how stuff falls. People talk about the Clippers. There's some people that think the Clippers won't even make the play-in this year.
they might be cooked now with that Kawhi news.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Kawhi's out, James Harden, who else do they really have on that roster that really can step up?
No one.
As you would say, KPJ.
KPJ.
Jones
What about
Jr.
Zubac? What's he up to?
Ivica
Mr.
Zubac, he's
a good center,
great center, but he's not a cornerstone of your franchise, So, really, I'm gonna throw it over to Cam now with his.
Well, my
sleeper
pick got
teams.
taken by Spencer, but everybody's been talking about the West, so I'll go East. I'm going to go with the Hornets. LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, if he doesn't get in trouble. He's looking for a big season. Also, they got Nick Smith, Trey Mann, great guard play over there. It's just if we can get the bigs figured out over there. They got Mark Williams, actually, who could improve.
Yeah, Charlotte, the glorified AAU team of the NBA. Miles Bridges, great at rapping, by the way. You should listen to it. But I don't know with Charlotte. I have no clue. I have no clue with
That's
this
very
team.
true.
They're a massive wild card.
They've
been awful the past few years,
Yes.
even with LaMelo, and it's been roughly the same roster. But, you never know. I mean, LaMelo Ball has been a very good guard, and I think he needs to take that next step. And I think if he does, and Miles Bridges, did what he did, we all know the story with Miles Bridges and what happened.
Shout out Brandon Miller too.
Yeah, and
He might be one of the best shooters of all time in this league.
they have a good supporting cast there. I could see a play in this spot, because the East isn't that good.
James,
The East is top heavy.
James, what's up over there?
You said Brandon Miller. What?
I said he's one of the best shooters of all time in the league.
Interesting.
Okay, hold on.
All right.
Wait,
Nobody called that. Okay.
It's 1 year. Relax.
yeah.
That's crazy.
It's the story behind it.
It's the
I
story
think.
behind
If you know,
it.
you know.
If you know, you know.
Oh my God.
For me, my sleeper would have to be the Houston Rockets. I'm a big fan of this roster. Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun,
He's so good.
He might be top 3, top 5 center in the league right now, in my opinion. Jabari Smith, I think, is going to take the next step. Jalen Green, he's kind of a wild card on this team, even though he is a star talent. His role in this team is kind of a weird role. Don't really totally know what it is, to be honest with you.
He's a younger version of James Harden, and it's fitting that he's in Houston because he just shoots the ball a ton.
Yes.
And most of the time they don't go in, and then sometimes it does. He'll have a really good game and then have a really bad game. He's been a very inconsistent player, but I will always not like him because of the Cade Cunningham's a thing because he doesn't like Cade and. He can screw off. But Jalen Green is so up and down. But Houston is a very deep team with Fred VanVleet. They have a great supporting cast, a great young, and Alperen Sengun. Yeah, he's one of my – I really like him. He's transitioning into a 2010 player in this league. I think he was at like 17 or 18, and he had 10 rebounds a game last year. They're going to be set up. I do like Houston because they were 41-41 last year. I think they were at 500.
My bold take of the season is that they finish 4th in the West.
Wow.
I think they're in the top 4 in the Western Conference this season.
Yeah, it's a bold take, all right.
That's why it's called a bold take.
It's not like a bold take. Logan told us the pre-show where the Pistons were not good. So
exactly.
Tobias Harris,
he may be the difference maker.
Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris, and Jaden Ivey. You watch out. Ron Holland coming off the bench.
Since we
Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren.
Since we all like different teams on the panel, how about we break down our favorite teams as well? Let's go with James real quick and the Luka lover.
Big Dallas.
The Luka lover over here.
Great finals performance, by the way.
Wow.
Sweep.
Wow. They got swept? No. What happened to your team?
Oh, we don't talk about the Pistons.
Interesting. Okay.
He'll talk about the Chauncey Billups.
I'll talk about the
Pistons
Motor City Cruise if you want to.
The Motor City Cruise is absolutely crazy.
Or the Grand Rapids Drive.
I mean, what are we talking about, the moves?
Just break down.
How do you feel about your team
expect?
going into this season, basically?
I mean, I feel really good. I mean, it's all about health, you know what I'm saying, and experience, obviously, like that. And, I mean, Clay, I feel like Clay he has to get back to what he was, but I feel like that's going to help a lot with just Kyrie and Luka, being able to set them up.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had Steph over there, but it's like, it's not like they had a whole lot of weapons. So it's like now he's just got to, get to them spots and be ready for it.
Him coming off the bench is probably a better move anyway.
For right now,
Ooh,
yeah.
I mean,
for right now. Well, I mean, we'll see. I think Luka and Kyrie is the best guard duo in the league, and I don't think it's close. We said this in the finals last year. Okay. The whole reason the Mavericks made it is because of those two were balling, and they were just popping off for the Mavericks. I think Dallas. Yeah, I agree. I think Dallas will be very good this year.
It wasn't just them though. Like you had the PJ games and the Thunder series. I mean, they got a whole lot of like now they got Grimes. They got Marshall. Like who?
I said they do.
Oh yeah. I mean, Lively. Coming off his season. Gafford. I mean, he still got a lot of pieces. So it's all about how you put it together. They got the experience. So I keep on rolling.
Yeah, I do have Dallas finishing first in the West this season. Personally, I think they're going to have a what?
All right, wow.
Indeed.
That is something. All right.
That is something, huh? That's all right, Spencer. How about your favorite team and honestly the best franchise in the association and the let me check my notes here. The Detroit Pistons.
There's a whole lot of hardware in Detroit. There's just too much to catch up. So. 3 championships, but
same as mine.
Yeah, no, but in all honesty, this team is going to be better. I really do think. I think JB Bickerstaff is going to be really good for this team. He was good in Cleveland. He just couldn't. He choked in the playoffs, to be fair, and his defense has been very good. I mean, the Pistons they're 3-2 in the preseason. Cade Cunningham is getting more space. They're doing really good in the pick and roll. Him and Jalen Duren are really showing out. And like I said, Jaden Ivey has been he's improved from last year. Monty Williams with these like stupid lineups of all these bench players coming in to start. It made absolutely no sense. And Monty Williams he's a good coach, but man, he was terrible with the Pistons. But that's for another story. He was awful.
He got his bread though, for sure.
No, he definitely got his bread.
He got his bread. He
got his bread and ran. Real
he got
quick.
his bread. That's fine. But they'll be better. I see probably around 30 wins if I'm going to be honest, and that's being optimistic.
That's fair.
Which, if you think about it, isn't really hard to do in the NBA. It's just when you win 21, 20, and 14 games in the past 3 years. 30 is it's a bar. It's a high bar for this team, but no, they'll be better. I expect like a 30 to 35 win team. Play-in, absolutely not, but I expect to see growth from Cade Cunningham under the new offense with JB Bickerstaff. I expect to see some growth with Jaden Ivey. I think them coinciding in the backcourt's going to be good. Jalen Duren, I expect a good year from, and Tobias Harris. he's a solid player. He's not a star, but he'll fill that he'll fill out the forward spot nice. So, I mean, in the small forward, they'll have a Sar Thompson or Ron Holland switch in and out of that spot. Yeah, they gotta win. They gotta win more than 14 games. So that's simple.
That's sad. Moving on to really not really your favorite team, more so favorite player, but let's talk about the Denver Nuggets.
You know,
Who's
I
your
think,
favorite team?
well, I'm a player guy, Russell Westbrook, so I just kind of follow him. What's the wows
Yikes.
for?
You got a second
Out
favorite
of-
player?
Out of all the players you choose Westbrook.
Brick is crazy. All right, but we'll
This isn't 2017.
we'll go
my
past
man,
that. I'm unbiased. Detroit
right.
had their time. I won't punch at that. We'll keep it
No,
stagnant.
tell me. My team blows. I don't care. I literally went on this podcast last year, and I roasted them for like 15 minutes. I said I hated
fair.
them, and I did at the time.
Yeah.
Do I not like them still? Yeah, they suck. But
Honestly, the Pistons are like the aftermath of a Diddy party. So
you
Kim,
and Diddy, bro. Let it go,
back onto
bro.
your
Yeah.
Denver
Yeah,
Nuggets.
man, let's
here.
talk about
Yeah.
Russ, man.
Well, Russ probably ain't gonna do much this year. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a non-biased Russ fan. He kind of sucks right now,
Yeah.
but it's all right. But the Nuggets are a very dark horse team in the West. A lot of people have Dallas and Minnesota at the top, and Oklahoma City. But the Nuggets haven't done much, but they got the chemistry like Jokic.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. never swings the rock. Christian Braun is another name that's really good, and Deron Holmes from Dayton.
Yes.
A lot of
Yep.
people don't look at him.
I feel like Aaron Gordon has really come
Yeah.
into his own in Denver as well. I mean, besides really in Orlando, I mean, he wasn't much
No.
of nothing. And his role in Denver, it's really stood.
Jokic, in my opinion, is the best center in the league.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's close. He's won 3 MVPs. And
Should only have 2.
He shouldn't
Yeah.
have won that last one for sure.
No.
no, it should have been Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Luka.
Should have been Luka
Luka.
Doncic
Luka.
last season.
I would argue
Luka
Shea.
averaged almost 33 points a game last season.
Yeah, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander took a bad OKC team and exploited their rebuild. They were the number one team in the West last year.
That's fair.
A bad
He did
Oklahoma City
everything.
team, though.
They really weren't awful though.
They weren't
They weren't
awful.
good.
Chet,
Jalen Williams, Shet, yeah, they were
2
They had
nice.
years
pieces.
ago?
They had 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay, yeah.
Last year they were good because they were the number one team in the West.
Yeah. Okay.
The year before
Fair.
they were rebuilding.
Yeah.
Fair.
But yeah, Denver's a very dark horse team in the West. I think.
They're getting overlooked probably because
Yeah.
of the new teams that have come
Yeah,
up. And
yeah.
it's like, look at Denver. They still got all the same
Mhm.
pieces. The chemistry.
Same
like you
pieces.
said. Most of the same
Yeah.
pieces.
Not the good ones.
Who ain't?
KCP.
Well, KCP's not
Hey,
there.
That's
no
a
more.
tough one.
That's a tough one to lose. But they
Yeah.
still got the main core. You still got Jamal Murray. You still got
Bruce
Jokic.
Brown. You lost him.
You did lose Bruce Brown. You lost a lot of your role player.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You didn't lose
Positions.
your stars.
You
You,
didn't
lost
lose
your
the
role
stars.
players.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that matters though. Like off
It
the
does
bench.
matter.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it does
So-
matter. I mean, shout out Drew Holiday. He's the best role player
Oh,
probably in the
man.
NBA right
We were
now.
talking about that last
Can we
night.
even say he's a role player anymore?
I
don't
did.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say so.
he is.
He's like the definition of what a role player
Should
who
be.
should be.
Yeah.
Is Drew Holiday. He's like the best
Yeah.
at it, and I
Yeah.
think that's why.
You can say that.
Yeah. For now, my Heat though. Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think so.
The definition of mid but
Yes.
decent every year.
Yes, that's very true.
They'll
I
find
think they
some dude off the street and have him average 12 points a game.
They outperform what everyone expects a lot of the time, specifically in the last like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, he's in playoff Jimmy form right now. No media day hair change this year. No emo phase. People thought he went bald. He didn't go bald. That was a joke.
that would have been funny.
He is straight up about ball this season. I think Jimmy Butler. We're gonna get playoff Jimmy opening night. I do think this about Bam Adebayo though. I think Bam is gonna have a career season this year. I don't know how much that's gonna really affect Miami's true like playoff chances and going to the finals or whatnot. But I expect his overall play to really step up. Maybe a dark horse like top 5 in MVP voting candidate. I would say like 4th or 5th, maybe depending on how he plays.
Yeah.
But I'm not this guy. What you doing, James?
Daniel Gafford's
Hey,
better. There
he,
you go.
he made a face too. He know.
That's all right.
Look to your left, man.
That's okay.
Bam for MVP voting.
That
is
was kinda
crazy.
Borderline.
I mean, the Olympic, he played good in the Olympics. Great defender, but offensively, he's not going to average anything over probably 18 or 20.
roughly give or take usually.
Yeah.
But say he's gonna step up to 26 this season.
Hey, let's let him dream, man.
Just
Let's
let me
him
dream. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with letting me have
At
this
this
moment.
point.
All right.
What did you text me the other night? Me and Andrew about being a delusional Heat fan,
Yes.
watching Jimmy Buckets
Yeah, I
from
did.
2020.
Yes.
Yeah,
I did say that.
Jimmy's done.
Nah.
yeah.
Ooh, I
He
don't
could be
know.
most improved, maybe. Like
Ooh.
that could be a tough one.
He could be most improved player.
Could be a most improved.
I do
player.
think Miami still makes at least the play-in. They're gonna play. They're gonna make the playoffs. I think even in the play-in because Miami knows how to do
they have
it.
Spoelstra.
As long
Yeah.
as you have Eric Spoelstra as your head coach, Miami's still gonna be fighting, really, regardless. Now, does that mean a miraculous run again to the NBA Finals? Probably not this season. Realistically, I see conference semis at max. To be honest, I don't see them getting past that. But what they got to do is stop saying they're going to get every single free agent opportunity or every single good player. Oh, Miami's going to trade for this guy. Oh, they're going to trade for this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's interested in going there. Pat Riley, please do something.
Shout out Dame.
I was gonna.
They really dropped the ball on Dame,
Yeah.
man.
They
That
did.
was
If they-
that was
Honestly,
something
I think
special.
Portland did that to spite Miami more than anything else. I don't think Miami actually dropped the ball.
Because I know Damian Lillard has said in the past, like, there's like nothing to do in Milwaukee, and he said like he
doesn't
wanted to
even
go
wanna
to
be there.
Miami.
He does not want to be there.
No, he doesn't
No,
want
he
to be
doesn't.
in Milwaukee, and he should be in Miami. I think that's
sure.
the main takeaway. He should be a member of the Heat, but oh well.
It is what it is. But I do like Scary Terry. I think
Yeah.
he's going to be really solid this year for us. Khalil Ware's a guy to watch out.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I don't know how much his role is going to be his rookie year, though. I don't know if he's going to be like a normal guy off the bench or even if it's less than that. But I think his overall growth, see how he builds on this rookie year. Yeah, since we're talking about him and rookies, who's a guy you're looking out for rookie of the year? It's tough. This rookie class is a tough
it's
one to predict.
very tough.
We talked about this last
We
night.
did talk about this last night.
But I have Stephon Castle from UConn. He looks the most NBA ready. Very smooth, both sides of the ball. I think he's a 10-5 and like 3 guy on like probably 60% maybe. He might be tough.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to go with Houston again and Reed Shepherd.
Shepherd.
I think
Yeah.
Reed Shepherd might be the most ready myself. Some other sneaky ones, I think Donovan Clingan in Portland could be one.
Yep. Zach
Zach
Edey.
Edey.
Zach
The
Edey.
way he looked the other night.
Zach Edey's been looking good in the preseason.
Yes.
I will
Yeah.
say. I
Edie's
mean,
the betting favorite as of right now.
Him and John Morant, I think, will have a very good connection. together.
Easily a 10-10 guy, so yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Easily.
Yeah. So that's my guy.
James,
I was gonna say Zach Edey.
Zach
so.
Edey. Yeah. Hey,
It's
Either-
kind of
either
hard
him or
because
Reed Shepherd.
this rookie class is not very good.
Yeah.
In terms of like superstar talent, but it's a bunch of good, solid players. So.
Yeah. Before we get into our MVP and NBA Finals prediction and stuff, who's one team we think is just going to absolutely disappoint off the bat?
The Golden State Warriors.
Really?
Ooh.
They look done. They look cooked.
You think they'll do
They-
something
they
with
do-
Kaminga?
And they like 5-0 right now in preseason or 4-0.
It's the preseason.
I mean, yeah, but they look good. They're loaded. I mean, they have depth. Like that's what it's
I
all
don't
about.
I value the preseason a little bit, but I don't value it a ton. I need to see. Golden State has been on the decline for a few years now, and losing Klay Thompson, a member of the Splash Brothers, you don't have him. Like Curry doesn't have Klay anymore. They were the two founders of this Golden State dynasty. You lose one of those players, I can't do it. I know they have Jonathan Kuminga, who they need to see more from. They have some role players.
That's a sneaky most improved player guy.
Yeah,
Jonathan
for sure,
Kuminga.
There's so much talent in the West. I think Golden State's done. I think that I don't think they're making the playoffs this year.
But you think this
Not
Spurs
even a
can?
plan.
No, not the playoffs, not the play-in.
Wow, that's crazy.
James, what about you?
What we say? Disappoint.
The one who's going to disappoint the most.
Yeah, you gotta come back. I gotta
Come back to you?
Yeah.
All right,
I-
okay.
So are we looking at like a prediction standpoint or
Basically, a team that you think is going to disappoint its fan base, whether it's a high-level team that you think's barely going to make the playoffs or not make it, or just a team that's going to outright suck?
Clippers? I mean, losing Kawhi a little bit today for indefinitely is
Especially in that new arena.
as
I think
well.
that's kind of expected. No,
Yeah,
it's kind of like
exactly,
yeah.
after Paul George, there's no real like
Mhm.
direction. So it's kind
But
of like
there is
where do you
no
go
one
from
on the
there?
Clippers except James Harden and Kawhi. That's like that it factor.
Right.
Like Zubac can't go out there and score like 30 a night.
He's
like,
a 10-10 dude.
Yeah, he's good, but not consistent like that. So we'll see with the Clippers. Very questionable team. As Flight would say, James Harden and Kawhi, and the rest are nobodies. So
Yeah.
We will see.
Yeah. For me, I got to say the Phoenix Suns. I'm not.
Okay.
They have no depth past Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and I forget who even else is on that team right now off the top of my head. Devin Booker.
Nice.
Devin Booker. Honestly, they have no real bench like that. I mean, I like Nurkic. Nurkic is a good player, but I don't see. I just feel like Phoenix is just getting older, and
Did Phoenix?
Their
make
time
it-
was
Did Phoenix
their
make
time was
any
yesterday.
really roster changes last year? Like
Bradley
between this year
Beal.
and this year?
Bradley Beal.
Tyus
Well, no, I
Jones.
meant like
Yeah.
from last year to this year.
No,
Oh no.
not really.
I
Yeah.
mean, Tyus Jones. That's probably about
But
it.
like, yeah,
That's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
move the
I-
needle.
They just need a real point guard. That was
for
the
where
thing.
they were like a few years ago when they made the finals and they had Chris Paul, you
Yeah.
know, DeAndre Ayton.
Them days are past time.
Yeah,
now.
they're past, and they had the best bench in the league. That's the whole reason why they made the finals that year. I don't think they'll like. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they'll be like a top. I think they'll be a play-in team. I think they'll be.
I don't even.
I think that's
they
what
make
they
the
were
play-in.
last year, weren't they?
Yes.
Do they
Yeah.
still have Grayson Allen?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they still
he
have
led
Grayson
the
Allen.
NBA in percentage 3-point percentage
think
last year,
yeah, I
didn't
think
he?
he
Yeah, he
did.
did.
It's a little underrated. So
That is underrated, but I have Phoenix not even making the play-in this season. I know even
Really?
with Kevin Durant, even with Bradley Beal, even with Devin Booker,
Mm.
I just think their supporting cast is kind of like the Clippers. I think
Yeah.
they're very similar with that with their supporting cast.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't buy into the new coach.
No, Budenholzer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I buy into Budenholzer. I don't necessarily buy into what they have.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like he needs either more youth or I don't know. I just feel like KD's chance of trying to win another ring.
KD's getting old.
It's
too.
past.
KD's what, 36?
KD's past. This Phoenix team with how
like
it's
that.
set up, they don't have the
36.
bench.
Bradley Beal
Yeah.
is 30 something. Devin Booker is I think 26 or 27.
Yeah, he's
Something
pretty
like
young.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's younger,
still young.
but
Yeah.
he's not like old.
You
but
have the exception of an older player getting together, like in Dallas, Kyrie Irving with Luka. Luka's still really young and able to
Yeah.
build. When you have two old guys come together like Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant, I mean, you see their age.
I think the
Yeah.
Bradley Beal move it was just a bad move.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
It
another
didn't
Miami
really,
Heat
it didn't
player
really,
that
it
was
didn't
supposed
really
to be
make
there.
sense.
Didn't make sense.
I never understood that
I
because
think everyone tries to spite
Devin
Miami.
Booker is a shooting guard and so is Bradley Beal, and they weren't point guards, and they just wanted to force the backcourt, but they made the play. I mean, they made the playoffs last year, so who knows?
I don't think they make it, but I think they'll probably be like
Play-in.
top 6, maybe something like that.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix, so they'll make the playoffs.
James, who is your
I think
disappointment?
I'm going with the Bucks.
Bucks. That's
Yeah.
fair. I see
Okay.
that.
I just don't I don't really buy into it anymore. Like the Dame thing, like I still feel like he's trying to go back to that, Portland Dame and, trying to get back to himself. And it's just really weird with him and Giannis. And I think he's just still trying to figure it out. I don't think it's going to work. Especially Chris Middleton, too. It's
Yeah.
like he's not really healthy. He hasn't been getting healthy.
Yeah.
Then it's like,
Plus,
what else do you
I mean,
have after
yeah.
that?
I mean, and Doc Rivers tends to choke
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot, so.
Don't get me started on
And
Doc
they,
Rivers.
they did not look
Don't
good.
get me started on Doc Rivers.
They didn't look good at all with Doc Rivers. So, no, I actually, I agree with that. I think Milwaukee is going to take a step back. They were like 36-17 when they fired their
Budenholzer.
yeah, and then
Budenholzer.
they got. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
And
Adrian Griffin.
and then it doesn't seem
weird.
like Dame and Giannis can coincide in the same offense. It does. It's they're two different play styles, and it doesn't look right.
Where do you go from here, though, if you're the Bucks?
If you're the Bucks, you know what you
Yeah.
do.
You know, I mean, I'm going to be completely honest, and I know what Logan's going to say, and I actually think it's kind of correct. I think you just trade Dame to Miami. I think you try to get a new guard. You need Jrue
Who do you
Holiday.
get?
Jrue Holiday.
I was gonna mention that.
fit that
Oh,
that
man.
offense
Yeah.
perfectly.
Perfect.
He did a fantastic job in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
and they should have just kept him.
That gave
Because
themselves a ring.
him and Giannis were great. They were really good together.
We'll
and
trade Scary Terry up to Milwaukee if we need to. That's all right.
I
No.
bet you would.
Just to get that number
Jaime
0
Jaquez.
Lillard jersey. No, but I wasn't even going to say that. I was actually going to take it a step further.
Giannis.
I was going to say trade Giannis.
oh no,
Oh,
they're
no.
not going to trade Giannis.
I know
No,
they're not, but
they're
I'm not. They're not going to trade him unless he requests out. And I wouldn't be shocked if Giannis gets.
I
to
wouldn't
that
be shocked
point.
either.
But
I
where
think
would he
Giannis.
go?
Where would he go?
Don't
he
say
could go
him, no,
anywhere.
don't say him, I know.
Anywhere.
He could really go
Yeah,
anywhere.
for
He
real.
really could. But yeah, I think we're gonna get to a point to where Giannis is like, I don't think I can win here no more. With this roster. Yes, Dame, great player. Chris Middleton, it's his guy. But
You know, a team that's young that has a lot of cap space, and
the Detroit Pistons.
okay. Well, them
No,
too,
thank
but No.
The
But
Thunder.
that I think could make sense. The Thunder.
Yeah.
They would have to trade Jalen Williams. They'd have to trade a few first-round picks, and they would have to trade. They'd have to trade a lot. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I
on
feel
the
like
same
you would
team.
also have to get rid of either Holmgren or Hartenstein in the
for sure.
process there too. More than likely.
Oh, Hartenstein. Yeah, Holmgren has a higher ceiling.
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but if we talk about any like older superstar or any NBA player that goes back, I feel like that's KD to the Thunder right there. I feel like that would make the most sense. So
Really?
veteran presence.
yeah,
That's a
See
good
that.
one.
That is a good one.
I don't think Milwaukee trades him. I'm gonna be completely honest,
Yeah.
and I don't think he's gonna because he likes Milwaukee.
He does. He
But-
does.
And they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be a good team. It's not like they're gonna be like a bottom 5 team. Like they're gonna be good.
They're going to be in
Yeah.
the postseason.
They're
Yeah,
gonna
for
be in the
sure.
postseason. But I think after like in Doc Rivers, it was just such a rushed hire. It didn't make any sense at the time to fire Budenholzer, and they look out of sorts. And I do agree. I think Milwaukee disappoints. I think they win less than 50 games.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think they're like a 48-34 type of team.
Okay.
Yeah. I can
So.
see that. I can see that for sure. Let's get into our most valuable player predictions here. And we're going to start off with mine here. There's a lot of guys who I think are sneaky pieces. I think you could see guys that come out of nowhere. I think Paolo Banchero could sneak up in the top 5 this season. I think Tyrese Halliburton could sneak up into the top 5 in voting this year. I mean, of course, you've got Luka Doncic. Easily should have won it last year, in my opinion.
for
Of
sure.
course, Jokic is going to be around. Jason Tatum in Boston, you never really know. But for me, I'm going to OKC, and I'm going with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think Shai is going to really just take this Thunder team to new heights, really, this year. I am a big fan of his game. Shout out Allen, by the way. Shout out Allen. You know you love your
Yeah,
Thunder.
you love that team.
He loves that team more than he loves himself, and that's all right. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, what a story for Shai, really, the way his career started.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. This might be that trade that OKC and the Clippers had might be one of the worst of all time.
For sure.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
The Thunder got everything.
The picks and everything.
They got the picks. They got Shea. I mean, they were able to draft Jalen Williams. They were able to maneuver and get Chet Holmgren. And they have all these first-round picks.
Still, yeah.
It's crazy.
Insane.
And they can trade all these for higher talent. They have a ton of cap space.
Right, can still make another
The
move.
Thunder are in the best spot, franchise-wise, future-wise, in all the NBA.
Yeah.
And Shea, I think, is only 25. He's 25 or 26. Like,
Yeah.
He's still young.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I agree. I think he's going to have a fantastic year.
Spencer,
pick.
your prediction.
Yeah, mine's one that it hurts to say because I harped on this dude last year because I wanted him to be a Piston, and we got screwed in the draft lottery. I'm picking a player that not a lot of people are going to pick because I don't want to just say a cliche person because that's kind of boring. A player that I think is going to average 27 points and 14 rebounds a game. Victor Wembanyama is going to have an MVP year.
Okay.
And the San Antonio Spurs are going to be in the playoffs. They're going to go from the worst to first, not like first in the division or anything, but the divisions don't really matter. In terms of they're going to make the playoffs and not the play-in. They're going to make the playoffs. 6th seed. Victor Wembanyama had like I said, he had one of the best rookie seasons since LeBron. And I really think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. This dude is going to be an absolute menace, and he's only 20 years old.
They got a lot of good pieces in San Antonio
Yep.
that haven't
Young-
really been able
young-
to shine.
Young pieces,
Very
too.
good.
Yes, and I really do like
And
bringing
Greg
in-
Popovich,
Canvas next,
he's
so
like,
let's get,
people are
strategy
gonna
and
give
players on
like
one.
say, oh, like San Antonio's been good. He's one of the best head coaches of all time. He
Yeah.
had a ton of talent, but he knew how to handle it.
Exactly.
And I think that with Victor, he has his Tim Duncan-esque player
Yeah.
to where he
Yes.
can build around this team.
I'd really like bringing in Chris Paul for season 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just that veteran presence. I mean,
Even if Chris Paul doesn't do much, they're so young that having a dude who has done so much in this league and is the epitome of a perfect point guard,
Yeah.
it'll help this team a ton.
It's just gonna be about somebody that can finally give him the ball. Like it's so
Yes.
many clips
Yeah.
of him just wide
Yes.
open, like, "Hey, I'm open," like, and they don't pass on the ball. Like
Yeah.
that's
and you
so
get the
crazy.
perfect point guard for it in Chris
Right,
Paul.
exactly.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
Lob
Some more
City
touches.
Spurs.
Lob City Spurs.
Ooh.
That might be a thing.
Well, Wembanyama won't have to jump for a lob, so
That's very true. He could just Space
He'll
Jam
be
it.
standing,
Space Jam
Yeah,
it.
Victor Wembanyama in the Olympics as well almost won MVP behind LeBron if they won that game. So Victor Wembanyama for most improved for me personally. Is the most improved.
That's
yeah.
a good one. Cam, your MVP prediction.
Now, James said he was trash earlier, but I think he's going to be on a villain arc kind of season with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum might exceed his limits this year and actually be consistent. He is inconsistent. I see that, James, but I think he'll
True.
fix it being around those superstars in the Olympics. Didn't play a lot, got a lot of hate for that. Also, all the Kobe stuff going on. That Celtics team is going to be insane. I think he'll lead it straight to MVP.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I've predicted Tatum once or twice on this podcast to win the MVP. It just never works out. But, you know, y'all don't really know as much here on this podcast, but the hatred for the city of Boston is very strong.
very high.
Very high
Especially
in
from
this
you.
human being. We'll get more into that later on anyway. James, who's your MVP prediction?
I actually went with Shea as well.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
I feel that the only thing I do feel like it will be really hard for him to get the MVP only because of how the Thunder were at first. So it's like, how else does he, the team jump and, him show like, oh, I'm the MVP. It's like, what else does he have to do?
Yeah, I mean, averaging 30 points last season in the regular season already was pretty close to being, as Spencer said, enough, really.
Right. It should have been.
It should
Either him or Luka,
Yeah.
Either someone's going to have to decline and he stays where he is
Yeah.
with that points per
Yep.
game, or honestly, I don't know. But I love this Thunder team a lot.
Yeah.
I love this Thunder team, and I love Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. and his play.
Hartenstein was the most perfect pickup
He
because
was.
He just got hurt too, right?
I
Oh,
think
did he
I think
actually?
he did.
Like his hand.
Like
I
a,
think-
it's a
Okay.
small thing. It's nothing really.
I think he's out for
major.
like 5 weeks or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got 82 games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You got a long
Got a long season.
Something happens to Chet, he's a perfect replacement.
Yeah. Oh,
With
yeah.
his passing, he's a really good passer for a big.
Yep.
Yes. And now on to our NBA Finals predictions here. And we're going to start off with mine again. So, in the Eastern Conference, I hate the Boston Celtics with a passion.
Yep.
I despise that franchise, organization, everything about that city alone. They're the most spoiled fans. Let's just get into that real quick. Most spoiled sports fans in America. So, y'all ain't winning the East this season. I'm going to make my way down just a little farther south. We're going with Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. I love this roster build. Bringing in Karl Anthony Towns, I think, is a perfect move. Mitchell Robinson doesn't come back till January, I think, is his estimated time to come back. But when he comes back, the rotation of Cat with Mitchell Robinson down low is going to be really good. Josh Hart, absolute great player. I just love this Knicks roster build. Brunson, to me, is one of those guys that out of nowhere is a superstar. But you saw the talent in Dallas when he was there. But for me, in the Eastern Conference, we're going with the New York Knicks. And, of course, with the Western Conference, I'm going to have to go with my MVP and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that OKC is the most well-rounded team. Even though they're young. They could be a year away from this happening. They're very young. Their oldest player is Alex Caruso, 30 years old. You don't see that really across the NBA. But, honestly, nowadays, you're getting to the point to where the guys who are younger are having a lot more success. And for me, I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder end up winning it.
Sam Presti's
Okay.
built-
I think
built a hell of
I
a
think
team.
Shea sweeps and wins Finals MVP as well.
Sweeps?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a hard prediction to do.
Who's New York starting forwards?
Starting forwards would be
OG Bridges.
Yep, OG and Mikal Bridges.
Gotcha. Yeah, they got a. Cat just looks like he doesn't want to be there. Did you see the video of yesterday? He was watching Minnesota's
yeah.
preseason.
Big
A
perk.
Billie Eilish concert.
We gotta remember he's
yeah.
also just like he was there for so long and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
he's
gonna be
been-
weird seeing him in a new uniform.
Yeah, I
It's
think
gonna feel. Really
He was
nice.
balling in preseason.
He's been doing good.
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's gonna fit in just fine. But you gotta remember he was there almost a whole decade up in Minnesota, pretty
Yeah,
much.
since 2015.
2015 time. So he'll get used to it. I mean, him and Ant were like this.
I mean, they gave Cat the keys till Ant got there.
They did.
Right. So
Yeah.
you got to look at it from that perspective.
Maybe out for a little bit of vengeance later on. We'll see.
Ant did say at the end of their game when they played each other that he would like to be on a team with Cat again. So
Hey, man, he was just talking, man. That's
Hey.
not going to happen.
maybe foreshadowing.
Maybe like 7 years down the road.
Yeah.
from
Yeah, I
now.
was gonna say the Knicks. They're done. I mean, in terms of like roster adjustment. So
Spencer, your finals prediction.
Yeah, I'm going for a wild card in the East. This team I think did get better. They added a player that I am very high on that I think is going to run this offense. And with a healthy Joel Embiid, I think that this team and Tyrese Maxey is such a good player that nobody talks about enough.
It's true.
The East is top heavy, and the West is very deep. Now the Celtics, the Knicks. Give me the Philadelphia 76ers. This Philadelphia team is going to be very, very, very good this year. Joel Embiid's going to be back. Tyrese Maxey is going to have an ascendant year. And Paul George and Tyrese Maxey is an absolute hell of a duo. And then Joel Embiid down low. I think that the Sixers team I think that they finally break through because it's been so long. The process has been
estimated
a
time
long
2016.
process.
We're on like year 8 or 9 of the process now.
It's been a long process, but give me Philly out of the East, and at the West, everything Logan just said about the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have the most well-rounded roster. They have one of the most young. They have arguably the youngest roster, and
They have the youngest roster.
they have the best player, in my opinion, in all of basketball, in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Right now.
It's fair.
And give me Oklahoma City to win in 6 games.
Back-to-back OKC winners.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
We're just jinxing.
We're just jinxing Allen. I'm not deliberately even jinxing Allen. I fully believe it. I do.
Neither am I.
Cam, how about you?
So in the East, I kind of said it earlier. I think the Celtics are going to take over. Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum with some Olympic experience could hurt him, could get injuries. That's the only thing I see hurting them, not getting to the finals. But that squad is so deep. With Lonnie Walker, Peyton Pritchard, they look amazing off the bench. But in the West, I also have the Thunder, which you guys have been saying is pretty much exactly what I would say. So deep. I mean, deepest team. Maybe one of the best young teams we've seen ever.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
But I got Celtics in 6.
Back to back. Wow.
Yeah.
At least he didn't pick Oklahoma City to win it. James, are we going to have a clean sweep over here? Let's see.
Definitely not. So, in the East, I'm similar to you, though. I will go with the Knicks.
Why so?
I feel like that's one of the, I'm going to say in the off season, they definitely got a team that's built to beat the Celtics.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with that. I think that they're more well-rounded than they had been. I think they're more ready up to the challenge to beat Boston.
I think they really had a good chance, if, everybody didn't get injured and everything like that.
Right.
You had Brunson at the end. And then that shot from, who was that, Nembhard?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that was crazy. And then on the West, I'm going to go with the Mavs. They run it back. They get there.
Homer pick.
I'm telling y'all, just wait and see.
They could. I'm not even going to sit here and act like they
No,
easily. Yeah.
But yeah, I think you keep the same team around, and obviously get Clay, you get Grimes, you get Marshall, and with experience, I think they run it back and they will beat the Knicks in 6 games.
That's fair. That's
very
fair. One team none of us mentioned that I feel like others would say, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves could easily run there. No Denver Nuggets out the West either. I feel like that. I don't know. The West is so deep. They're really.
It's just all about.
It's
all about matchups.
It is.
It is. It's all about
matchups and injuries, because I feel like the Timberwolves are.
I'll tell you what. The West playoffs is going to be absolute cinema, though.
Yeah.
This year it's going to
100%.
be absolute cinema.
100%, and just for the whole city of Boston, Massachusetts out there, Kevin, here's one for you in post again. You. We will be back here at the Ball Beats Podcast. When we come back, sadly have to talk about a sport that keeps on going. No one cares about the NFL anymore, but college football's still good.
What do you mean?
College football's still good. We'll be back here after this break from the Ball Beats Podcast. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back here to episode 116 of the Ball and Beats Podcast. As We've had some rotation here on the desk, and we have Corn-Fed Boy back here with us, Asa Critter.
Iowa.
How
What's
are
up,
you,
boys?
sir?
I'm phenomenal. I'm doing great. Both my Iowa teams showed out this past weekend, and we're living on the high for a little bit.
Finally, some offense, maybe.
Some offense
Yeah.
out of Iowa. Come on.
How about those Hawkeyes? 40 points this week.
Against the Huskies? Yeah.
Woo.
Who just beat Michigan? It was a good weekend.
That's not hard.
Good weekend.
That's not hard beating
No.
Michigan.
It's not.
Not
but
this
you
year.
know what? But they did it nonetheless. So
Yeah.
They did it nonetheless.
Iowa
and
does have some offense now. So
Amen.
Caleb
Watch
Johnson.
out.
Caleb Johnson.
Caleb Johnson,
Very,
yep.
very.
Cade McNamara.
He's not even underrated anymore.
No,
I think,
he's not
I think the rest of the
underrated. I
country
think-
really knows about Caleb
yeah,
Johnson.
I agree. Also, good job, Kirk Ferentz. We're proud of you.
Yeah, let's get into what happened on Saturday night here with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Something me and Spencer both did predict on the show that
Yep.
Oregon would beat Ohio State.
I would have predicted it too if I was here, but that wasn't my pick. So it's okay.
It's all right. 32-31, and what was a nail biter.
Ouch.
But I think for Ohio State, personally, I mean, I think there's a lot to learn from it. I think it happening right now than later on in the season is going to be a benefit to this team. Yeah, it's kind of been a regular thing under Ryan Day, but you also got to remember Ryan Day is in year 6, year 7 as being Ohio State's head football coach. And most guys take till about year 6, year 7 as a head coach in general to finally really get it. People forgot Kirby Smart in Georgia for the longest time. Had
Yeah.
the same conversation around him that Ryan Day did until
Yep.
he finally got
Couldn't
over
win
the
the
hump.
big games.
Shout
Couldn't
out
do this.
Oregon.
Couldn't do that. Couldn't win the Natty and all this stuff.
He had the exact same conversation. All the Georgia fans were comparing him to Mark Richt.
Oh,
For a long time.
Jeez, yeah, that was.
And then he finally got over the hump. He finally beat Alabama in the national championship, and now look at him. He's the best coach in college football, as people say.
Yeah.
Maybe not how to run a program necessarily, but to be a head coach,
Get
he is
some
a very
Ubers.
good one. But for me, with Ohio State, defense, it just has to be better. It has to be better. Denzel Burke was targeted 8 times in the game for 8 catches,
Awful.
179 yards
awful.
given up. Why is Jordan Matthews Jr., who's a freshman All-American from last season, not
Not playing.
at all? At all. Didn't even touch the field.
Igbuson wasn't good either, to be honest with you. And no, the corners were terrible. Both of them were. Iggy and Denzel Burke. Denzel Burke got burnt twice, and I get it. He didn't have any safety help, and Caleb Downs could have helped him out, or he could have gotten something. But no, that's on you. They just ran a straight line, and that was it. The receiver just went straight, and that's you got burnt. It was terrible. The defense was terrible. But my biggest problem with Ohio State this game, where was the pressure? The
Yes.
defensive line was awful. Jack Sawyer didn't even. Where's Jack Sawyer at? Where's JT Tuimoloau? Where's these guys that said, "Oh, I want revenge"? They were nowhere, absolutely nowhere to be seen Saturday night. The defensive line could not get home at all. The offensive line from Oregon is good. I'll give them that. I don't care. These are 5-star talents. These are seniors. These are guys that have been in this program. These are guys that have been under Jim Knowles' defense, who once again, under a big game, did not have a good game. The offense was good for the most part. They scored 31 points in Oregon. They had a good game. Defense was terrible. Oregon should have had so many more points. They should have had another touchdown on that 4th and goal. They had one of the receivers wide open that Dylan Gabriel just didn't see, that Ohio State got lucky of. And Ohio State had every opportunity to win this game. My biggest problem, obviously, is the defensive line. They were nowhere. Jack Sawyer didn't hear his name. JT Tuimoloau didn't hear his name. Tyleik Williams didn't hear his name. And now both your starting tackles, left and right, are now out for the season on the offensive line. That's a huge hit. Ohio State got hurt bad in this game. And you can talk about the clock management all you want. You can talk about Will Howard sucks. Will Howard had a great game on Saturday. He made a mistake. Okay? It's as simple as that. He shouldn't have done that. He should have checked the ball down, or he should have thrown the ball away and just try a 56-some yarder with Jaden Fielding. That's all you can do. And the offensive pass interference on Jeremiah Smith, I didn't think it was OPI, but you know, the ticky-tacky calls, they do that all the time. I don't think you should really call that in that situation, but they did. And they had 24 seconds left, and they ran 10 seconds off after that because of the flag that they didn't realize. And then Will Howard threw the ball away. 10 seconds left. You had 12 men on the field by Oregon. And now it's a rule that the offense can take the time back with the penalty of 12 men on the field because of this game. Because I don't know if Dan Lanning did it, intentionally
he said he
or
did
not.
it intentionally.
Well, then he did intentionally put 12 guys on the field, and it worked. It worked. Obviously, you're going to have one more man on the field. Of course, it works. Why wouldn't it? And he didn't do anything with it, and it's a tough loss. I mean, it really is. I kind of had a feeling that Oregon was going to win this game, and Logan said the same thing, and they did. Oregon played better. Dylan Gabriel had a great game. The defense was terrible, and Jim Knowles has paid all this money, and he's done this again in a big game.
It's the big games. The big games.
Jim Knowles in big games is terrible. His defenses do not show up. This defensive line has not been the same in a long time, and this comes down to Larry Johnson. And I love Larry Johnson, one of the best recruiters, one of the best coaches. He's an Ohio State staple. Everyone loves him. It is not working out. Jack Sawyer was a 5-star prospect. JT Tuimoloau, 5-star prospect. They're nowhere. They're absolutely nowhere this season. They've been terrible.
Defense was a little lackadaisical, just looking back at the highlights and whatever. And I think Ohio State, it was there. It was clicking. The offense was
the offense was
phenomenal.
great. Jeremiah Smith, once again, was very good. I mean, the running game, fantastic.
I think they should have did that more.
You
game.
mentioned it. It was clock management, in
Yeah.
my opinion. These are two phenomenal teams, and that game could have gone either way. I really believe it, and it just came down to who wants it more. And Oregon, yet again, upsetting Ohio State. This is an incredible Ohio State team. I think they're still national championship contenders, in my opinion. Like this one game isn't going to cost you, especially.
They only
if
dropped
it was,
2 spots in the AP poll.
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, those 2-3, games. That could have been a national championship game right there. You could have.
it was a hell of a football game.
We could
it
have
was
already
a great back and forth football.
We
game.
could have already witnessed it, and it's not going to hurt Ohio State. I really don't think so. Ryan Day. I mean, Ohio State fans are Ohio State fans, and Ryan Day's head's going to be on the chopping block. Come on, are you kidding me? You can go 11-1 the rest of your life and be perfectly. That's a great season.
We have it lucky at Ohio State, but we also have the expectations through the roof
to win.
I think
natties.
Nick Saban screwed over a lot of people's expectations on what happens in college football.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you win 6 national championships, even then, look at how long he was there. He was there from 2007 to right now. He was there 16 years.
You're a good coach if you can, at the end of the day, win 7-8 games. I mean, and I'm saying that from obviously a standpoint of a fan of teams who usually go, but 11-1, come on. One loss isn't going to kill. I understand the Michigan thing a little bit. If you're an Ohio State coach and you can't get over the Michigan hump, it's going to cost you.
This year is it.
In particular, this year.
This year,
for sure. So losing to an Oregon team, week 6
at Oregon,
week 7,
at Oregon.
Yeah,
that's
a
also
different story. That's a different story. It's not like they rolled into the shoe and blew out the Bucks. No.
Yeah.
This was
a
great
back
game.
and forth game. This was a great football game. No, I completely agree. And to the Ohio State fans that want Ryan Day fired,
shut up.
Yeah, I know he's 1-7 in
Shut
the
up.
top 5. It does, but people say that Ryan Day hasn't won a big game life. That is not true. Anyone remember the 2020 Cotton Bowl? Like, anyone remember all of 2019? Like, he has won Notre Dame last year at home. He's won big games. Notre Dame on the road. I mean, is Ryan Day an elite coach? Yes, he is. Does he have an issue sometimes with either clock management? Yeah, he does. He's got a clock management issue sometimes.
Is it also maybe
But-
to do with the
That's not his
lack
fault
of?
anymore, though.
Is it also do with that he's still young as a head coach? And
He
still,
is.
You got to think about it. He was just a quarterbacks coach until about 2018, 2019.
Yep.
All of a sudden, he's the head coach. And a lot of guys who are, talk about Kirby Smart, talk about some of these other coaches, a lot of times they're head coaches at much other areas in high school football, up to college football, up to FCS level, and then finally up to Division I FBS. Yep. Ryan Day, this is his first ever head coaching job at Ohio State. He wasn't a head coach before. Yep. And so he's really learning still a little bit what it takes to be a head coach.
Ohio State just put all their chips in and said we're going to take a shot with this guy, and he's done a phenomenal job.
He's a great recruiter.
He
and
is.
he gets
is.
talent here.
And obviously he can play the transfer portal. Yeah. Like a lot of coaches are afraid to do
Caleb
that.
Downs from the transfer portal. I mean, Will Howard.
Everybody. Like, seriously, he does an incredible job with the transfer portal. A lot of head coaches are afraid to use that.
Yeah,
And Ohio State fans that are mad at Will Howard, and like he said, Will Howard had a fantastic game. He played good. He played very damn good. Did he make a mistake? Yeah. He should know that. He shouldn't. He knew he made a mistake right as he got down the field because he put his hands over his helmet and he realized they lost the game. Now you're gonna make mistakes. But it doesn't take the fact away. He had a really good game. He was accurate. He made the throws when he needed to, and the offense was great. The reason why they lost this game is their defensive line. Oregon's defensive line gave pressure to Will Howard. Ohio State did nothing. Ohio State's defensive line was absolutely nowhere.
Here's a stat for you. JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer, of 8 years of football combined, have 30.5 sacks. Chase Young, in 3 years, had 30.5 sacks at Ohio State.
They have, yeah. We have not had the development, or we've not had that dude on the defensive line since Chase Young.
There's no push on the defensive line. There's no. It's very rare unless you bring extra. If Ohio State, they're not a blitzing team under Jim Knowles. They're really a nickel-based defense.
Yep.
You're going to have to blitz to get pass rush with Ohio State. JT Tuimoloau, and Jack Sawyer, they're just not it. They're not going to be able to do it individually. They just don't have the talent to.
Nope.
Or the skill set to do it. But I think Ohio State's just going to need to incorporate stuff moving forward for them. They've got some big games coming up. You got Happy Valley here in 2 weeks.
That's what I wanted to just bring up. Is this like okay?
Happy Valley's a must-win.
Yeah. So Penn State.
It is. Penn State's a must-win.
Penn State is a beatable team, and they proved that with USC.
Yep.
That was I think USC is the weirdest team in college football right now, in my opinion. I mean, they're beatable, and then they look like they are.
They're very inconsistent.
They're so inconsistent, but that Penn State game was weird. That's so weird, and Penn State is always overranked, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Always, but you really see that they're beatable. Mm-hmm. And where is Ohio State playing? Or is it at?
It's at Penn
Beaver
State.
Stadium?
Penn State.
Ohio State's next few games, I mean, they play Nebraska at home. Nebraska's a good team, and then they go to Happy Valley.
We know about Nebraska.
Nebraska
is not a good team.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
That's all right.
Their quarterback is better than Cade McNamara.
The Mahomes wannabe?
Yeah, Mahomes
wannabe.
wannabe.
Shout out Dylan.
No, in Ohio State, if they win out, same matchup. Indy, OSU, Oregon. Because they play Indiana, who's undefeated. They play Penn State, who's still undefeated. They would have Oregon left. OSU has to win out. They have to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're not making the Big Ten championship. And you're most likely not making the Big Ten championship, I would say. And you're running the risk of, you probably will make the playoffs, but you'll be like the 10 seed. I mean, you'll be like the 9 seed, and you go in with a bad taste in your mouth. You go in like you feel deflated. You feel deflated.
Yes.
This defense needs to step up, especially this defensive line. And Denzel Burke, for how much trash he talked in this offseason and all this stuff about, I've come back here to win natties, well, then go play like it. Go play like you're supposed to be one of the best corners in college football, because you were nowhere. Absolutely nowhere on Saturday. You were terrible.
Boys, just going to say it. Ohio State is not making the Big Ten championship.
Because
the Hoosiers. All right? The sneaky Hoosiers, man.
Well,
if they lose to Indiana.
If they lose to Indiana, yeah.
Just looking at the...
Just finish the season and get out. Just
looking at these Big Ten standings, these top four. Illinois, Penn State, Oregon, and Indiana's at the top.
Well, yeah, they're also undefeated in conference play right now.
Yeah.
That's going to change really quick.
That's going to change because Indiana actually has to play actual competent competition. They've played nobody.
Shout out Kurt Signetti, though.
He's doing good. Shout out Curtis Rourke, OU, MAC legend. I give credit to Indiana. Yeah. They look really good.
They do look good. And we've seen that, what was it, 2020? They look 2021.
With Michael Penix.
Yeah. They looked really good. So, I don't know. It's kind
Yeah,
of weird.
but for Ohio State,
Indiana,
need to
Illinois,
fix that
Big Ten
defense.
yeah,
championship.
Indiana, Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you love to see that after the conference realignment too? Wouldn't
Oh,
that
it would
be so funny?
random.
That'd be
right?
so
Luke
random.
Altmaier versus Curtis Rourke in the Big
So
Ten.
random.
championship. I know Andrew Hoffman would love to see Luke Altmaier play in a Big Ten championship game. As his team does play them this weekend, as we'll talk about that game here shortly coming up. But let's get into Toledo, shall we, real quickly? Hey,
I'm just gonna say.
you can go.
Trash.
I'm just gonna. Sorry to keep cutting you off,
No,
but
you good.
all right. We cannot win at Buffalo.
Nope.
And it's as simple as that. We cannot win at Buffalo. But
First.
in 2022, when we won the MAC ship, what did we do?
One at Buffalo.
We lost at Buffalo.
Oh, we did lose at
We
Buffalo.
lost at
Oh, yeah,
Buffalo.
we did lose at Buffalo.
Yeah.
And
We
we
lost
lost to
to-
BG.
We lost 5 games.
Yeah. So I mean,
we barely
this
made
could
it.
this could be
It's gonna be good.
this
blessing
could be
in
yeah,
disguise.
it could be a blessing in disguise. And we have NIU coming up, and we have BG coming up, and so
Important next
you know,
2
important
games.
next
It
two
is
games
important
for
next
sure.
2 games. Real quickly though, let's add someone else to the conversation. I just want to see if he's going to randomly pop up somewhere on screen.
There he is.
There he is.
Hey guys,
How you doing, sir?
not too bad.
That's good.
I was
that's good.
I was saying before, it's like the college game day. He's our bear.
He is
yeah.
our bear.
Except Bear
yeah.
actually knows how to make picks.
Yeah.
If you watched last week, my picks were not good.
Went like 2-10. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really know. That's a
No,
rough estimate.
Not quite that bad. I think it may have gone about 500.
Oh, 500's
You'll
honestly
take
not
it.
bad. though.
500
You
for
take
picks
it.
are pretty good.
You take it.
You take it.
So, Kevin.
Yeah.
Toledo at Buffalo. They've lost 4 of the last 5 playing up there. They've not had a lot of luck up in upper state New York. This Toledo team, Tucker Gleason got injured in this ball game. You had John Allen Richter come in and gave a spark to this team. Do you think that there might be any kind of quarterback controversy here?
It depends on how serious Gleason's injury is. I think he's done a fairly decent job. I know on the Snapchat had made a comment that Toledo was just stinking it up. As soon as I said that, Richter came in and drove him down the field and got a touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of that's adrenaline. It's going to really depend on what happens in practice this week. I think Gleason until proven otherwise is still the man for the Rockets, and
Yeah, he is.
we'll see where it goes from there.
Honestly, I think the one thing we really need to talk about with Toledo is this run game's non-existent at all.
No,
And
it's
they
not.
miss Penny
Yep.
Boone.
It's not.
Connor Wallensack is your leading rusher. Doesn't even have 200 yards on the season. And Tucker Gleason, your pocket passer at quarterback, he's not really that mobile, is your second leading rusher.
Yep.
That's inexcusable.
And Jacques Stewart's out.
Jacquez Stewart is out. He is banged up, and you're going to have to rely on Connor Wallensack. And honestly, Jacquez Stewart is more of your third down back anymore, the way they utilize him. They don't utilize him that much in the run game comparative like they should.
Yeah, this team misses Penny Boone bad.
This running game is some of the worst run game I've seen Toledo have in
Also
my
missing a
lifetime.
rushing quarterback. So
Yeah, you are missing the dual.
Who's not
threat
even
ability.
starting at Baylor, by the way.
yeah,
Not
well,
anymore.
No,
He's not
anymore.
anymore.
I kind of expected
And
it.
Penny Boone isn't even starting at UCF.
Expected it.
He's
Yeah,
their, he's
so
their
it-
second or third back.
Yeah.
Um,
So the grass
I-
isn't always greener.
the grass is not always greener, as they say. But this run game is piss poor. It is. It's awful. It's
Don't
awful,
count
and
Toledo out though.
you can't count them out.
You can't
No.
count Toledo out, but they're not. That was a bad game.
It was a
No,
bad
they're-
game.
That was an
they're-
overall bad performance.
They're not the team of the past, but they're still MAC favorites. The MAC is so weird this year. The MAC is so weird, and it's. I mean, Western Michigan's still in the conversation. It's just like. You don't even know where to go with the MAC anymore. For me, Toledo is still a favorite, but they've got to win these next 2 games, man. And like I've said, we can't win at Buffalo.
Mhm.
We can't, and Buffalo is kind of sneaky good sometimes, but
This year in particular, they
This
have
year.
an All-American at linebacker who leads the entire nation
Yep.
in tackles, and Sean Dolak.
Yep.
Buffalo, they got pieces. They
They
got a
do.
lot of pieces. They beat
do.
NIU on the road.
yeah,
You
When
know.
they were
yeah.
ranked.
and yeah, when NIU was ranked, this is such a weird MAC conference this year. So
Your 2 favorites, Toledo and Miami, kind of on the ropes. Miami's definitely on the ropes. Toledo,
they've got to lose another game.
Toledo's got to.
They gotta lose another
They gotta
MAC
get their
game.
crap together.
Yeah,
and they don't really get any easier right now. NIU, this weekend.
At
and then-
DeKalb?
At DeKalb.
At DeKalb.
And then you got BG coming into town. Yes, BG did just lose themselves.
And they lost the band.
Yes, they did.
Oh.
Stop crying, BG fans, by the way. Stop crying about that. That's not
No
that
one
big
goes to
of
the
a
game
deal.
for the band except
Talons
parents. Who
down.
cares?
Talons down.
Talons down. I like
Mhm.
that. Talons down.
Talons down.
Hey, I'm one of those band parents.
Hey, Kev.
You can see him perform.
Ohio has
you
a
can-
great band,
hey,
though. Good
you
job.
can see him perform the next. Shout out.
BG.
He's at BG?
I said BG.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah. Yep, that too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But this Toledo team, they got to find their groove on offense. Otherwise, this defense, which has been outstanding,
It's been very good.
you can't be out on the field all the time, as we talk about for a specific NFL team and expect them to do good. So, I mean, they have Darius Alexander, who I think is the best defensive player in the MAC, arguably. Probably the best secondary with Avery Smith and Braden Alls. You have still Maxon Hook and Emmanuel McNeil-Warren at the safety positions. This Toledo defense is still loaded.
They just gotta play better.
On offense, they have to play better in particular. It'll help out the defense.
Yep.
Let's move on here. Alabama sneaking away out of South Carolina. Is Alabama cooked?
No.
No.
No, absolutely not. I don't even. We don't need to talk about it.
It doesn't matter.
We don't need
like
to talk about it. It's
Georgia
Alabama.
barely beat Georgia beat Kentucky by 1 on the road. Alabama they beat South Carolina. Every top contender in the SEC every year always has like that weird game, like
That
Tennessee.
one
Tennessee
game.
barely beat Florida. There's
Yes.
always
SEC ball is SEC ball.
yeah. There's always
That
that,
is
one.
true right
there's
now.
always that like every team has that one game where they don't play good, but they still somehow win. And I think that was Bama.
The only
That's fair.
SEC team that is going to go undefeated and possibly win a national championship is Texas.
I don't
So-
know. They got this matchup
No,
this
Texas.
week.
Texas means business.
They do mean business, but they got one.
Still throwing them.
They still got one this weekend, which is one of the games of the week. Probably the game of
Might be
maybe
game
the
of the-
season.
yeah.
Might be game of the season. coming
Georgia.
up here. But we were talking about Illinois
Yeah.
having to go to overtime against Purdue, who might
Yeah.
be the worst team in the Big Ten this season.
Well, I think Illinois is still incredible. I do like Illinois. I mean, that's a strong defense, and for the first time in a long time, they have an offense that is watchable. So Purdue always does that, though.
Is that a Illinois maybe looking ahead to this weekend? Maybe
Who do they have again?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah, I think Illinois is going to win, but that's just what
We'll talk
Purdue
about that
does.
later.
That's just what Purdue does.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true. Purdue.
Purdue sneaky.
Purdue
is sneaky.
is kind of like the SEC, where you're going to have like that one weird. They're
They
going
got
to
Oregon
upset
this
one
week.
weird team.
They do
At
have Oregon
Ross-Ade.
at Ross-Ade this weekend.
Purdue,
And
you want to do everyone a favor?
Purdue is 2-1 in their
I-
last 3 games against AP top 2 teams.
I hate those Boilermakers, but that's just what they do.
The spoiler makers.
Spoiler. That's exactly right.
How about Tennessee, Florida last weekend going to overtime as well? Florida
Dude, this is so
down in the dumps in Tennessee.
It was
weird.
it was a really weird college football weekend.
It was.
We've 2 in a row. 2 in a
Nico
row.
Iamaleava.
Iamaleava.
Iamaleava. I like his future and stuff, but Florida is just so
Terrible.
awful.
Billy
So
Napier
awful.
has got 1 foot out the door. Like
Well, his whole body should have been gone a year and a half ago. But I digress from that. Let's talk about. I thought this game was pretty good. Kansas State, Colorado.
That was
That
a
was a good one.
that was a phenomenal Big 12 game. Absolutely incredible. Colorado kind of proving that they can hang around and that they can linger. But Kansas State, I don't trust them. I don't like Kansas State. I mean, what happened at
because of
BYU?
Farmageddon.
A little bit of Farmageddon hatred there, but I mean, against BYU, you saw how terrible that offense is. A little sneak peek of why they miss Will Howard a little bit. A little sneak peek of the
Avery
coaching.
Johnson, I didn't
Avery
think played
Johnson,
that
I
bad.
mean, Avery Johnson, he's still young. He's
Yeah.
still really becoming that guy there in Manhattan. You're talking about a 5-star quarterback still. Like, that's at Kansas State.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know? Like, that's saying enough. But, I mean, Kansas State, I think Kansas State is good, but I also just think Colorado is just not as bad as they were.
No, Colorado is
They've improved.
Colorado
They
is
have
not as bad
improved.
as they have been.
improved,
But
and I got to give them that. I don't like Colorado, but is the Big 12 very good this year? And so far, not really. It's top heavy, but Kansas State's a good team, and they went into Colorado and beat them, and it was a damn good game.
We know who the best Big 12 team is.
BYU.
Iowa State, but
BYU.
Actually, right now that would be, I think, the conference
The
championship.
conference championship
is
would be
BYU,
BYU and Iowa
Iowa
State.
State.
Yep.
I mean, look
For
what
the
happened.
4 seed in the playoffs.
Yeah. So
It's crazy.
West
Well-
Virginia, Iowa State, it was closer than it really was. Shout out my brother, he was there. We always loved going to Morgantown, watching the Cyclones come to town. It's awesome.
Nothing wrong with a little Morgantown country roads.
No, there's not, but that game was closer than it really appeared. We had Iowa State secondary in towards the end of the game and let West Virginia score another point. I'm sorry, but this Big 12 is weird. It just a lot of strangeness going on in college football. Big 12 football didn't really show up this year like we thought it would. Like Oklahoma State's been in a little bit of a letdown,
Yeah.
and
I think it's
Ollie
just
Gordon
because
has not been the same.
I just think that this conference in general, it's a very
losing Texas and Oklahoma
Is showing.
is showing
It
for
is.
sure.
It is, and I think you have a lot more programs that are all on the similar pedestal, really, when it comes to their football ability and their capability. But this conference, when it comes to college basketball,
The best in college basketball.
it is
Yeah.
the best right now.
By
Yeah.
far and away the
From
best in
top to
college
bottom.
basketball.
From top to bottom, it is the best. Real quick, before we get into our NFL talk, and who needs to really talk about the NFL, Heisman Trophy, of course. There's guys.
Ashton Genty.
Ashton Genty.
Next.
I wanted to talk about Ashton Genty. 126 carries on the season, 1,248 yards rushing, and 17 touchdowns through one half of the season.
Who was it? They were comparing 1988 Barry Sanders.
He's literally on track right now
He's-
to break his record.
He
He'll
is.
get
He's
over.
at
He's
6
gonna
games.
get like 2,300 rushing
Yeah,
yards.
six games in the season. And
My argument is, I
goodness.
think we all here agree necessarily that Genty should be the favorite right now at this point in the season.
second.
Dylan Gabriel.
I'm going Travis Hunter.
I think Travis Hunter too, simply because of just the
Dylan
unique player
Gabriel's
that
third.
he is. The unique player that he is. I mean, he's out there 97% of snaps.
Yep.
He's got, I think, if I could remember his stats correctly off the top of my head, I think he's got like 600 yards receiving or close to 600 yards receiving, with also having 3 interceptions on the year as well. You just don't have a guy like that. Like his capability and the athletic ability that he does have to play both positions and to be out there all the time. I mean, Travis Hunter's still got to be somewhere up there. And quarterback-wise, it's tough because I feel like, they've kind of fallen off the wayside a little bit. They're still undefeated. I would have to put Cam Ward probably at 3 and then Dylan Gabriel at 4. As of right now.
I haven't heard. There's not a lot of hype around Cam Ward anymore for me.
Not anymore. And
Hey,
really,
Like, there just hasn't
you're
been, like-
disrespecting my the U.
I think it's partially because you've had 2 or 3 games in a row. They've had to go down to the wire and to come back to win games.
Yeah.
They've had some slow starts. They've had some really bad defensive play against teams that, on paper, Miami is supposed to be much better than. But Cam Ward, the talent that he is, I think is still right there, up there in the Heisman Trophy. And, I mean, his stats, he's leading college football in passing yards coming into this week. So I think Cam Ward's still got to be in your top 3 when it comes to the Heisman Trophy. But honestly, I don't think they got – I think they got a pretty tough one this weekend against Louisville. It's in Louisville, and Louisville's known to knock off a team a little bit off their pedestal here. So we'll see what that prediction. But let's pivot
Quickly.
to the No Fun League, the league
I don't know what
that
you're talking about.
no one really cares to talk about, but we have to talk about it.
Give me some. Put it there, brother.
Let's get into the
Saw
happy.
a mock draft the other day. The Shedeur Sanders to Cleveland with the number 1 pick.
Let's talk about the Lions here and their absolute blowout in AT&T Stadium. I'm not gonna lie.
I hate the Cowboys.
Oh
You
my
love to see it.
God!
It
was absolute peak cinema. There's nothing better than going to Dallas on little Jerry Jones' birthday and smacking Dallas around.
I agree.
For
Get rid
60
of that
minutes.
old man.
It was absolutely perfect.
me who
I agree.
Then Aiden Hutchinson got hurt.
He
And
you just don't need him.
everything that was so great about the game.
Don't need him.
I got some.
That's not true.
From some people I know, I got
Dude,
blame
he was on track
for that.
to win Defensive Player of the Year, and it was
was.
not close. He was having an unbelievable year, and
Unbelievable.
unbelievable. Yeah, it really sucks because Hutchinson is he is the best player on this defense, and he is arguably one of the best player in this team. And I hope he comes back healthier next season. And it just sucks what happened because he was sacking Dak Prescott, and Aleem McNeil just got him on the leg, and it just wrapped around his knee, and it was not good.
We don't have to go into
I'm not
specific
going to go into
details
well,
of the
I can't
injury.
because I don't have.
I might vomit
You know
on the
what,
mic.
Kevin? I think we have the footage. Play it behind me. On
No,
the
I don't want to
No.
see it again. I don't.
I'm
It
just
hurts.
kidding. I'm
I
just
might
No.
throw up.
And-
I can't watch
kidding.
knee injuries.
I draw the line there. I saw that one time, and I'm like Ace. I wanted to throw up. It just
I
it
can't
just
watch
looks
knee
so
injuries.
awful.
It hurts because Hutchinson is one of the biggest. He is the biggest part of this defense, and now they're going to need guys to step up on that defensive end.
Where Spencer lives, he actually has a shrine of Aiden Hutchinson.
I do.
He does. He actually prays to it every single night,
Pray to
praying
Hutch
for a
every
Super
night.
Bowl.
Hutch Daddy.
Hutch Daddy. That's how.
Yeah.
Win
I
it
don't
for
know how-
97.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
No, but in all what?
But this game, I mean, you were at my house. I didn't even know what
It
the
was
score
great.
was. I literally walk into my house. Spencer's over, and then my cousins are over. My dad's a Cowboys fan, right?
Oh,
But my dad was kind of quiet when I walk in the house. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, something's got to be up. And then I finally see the score. At that point, it was 34-6.
You were there watching it without Logan.
Yes,
Yeah?
that's
That's
called I was
awesome.
working. Shout out Coach Mike Robinson from BCSN.
He took forever.
I did take forever, but I walk in. They're up 34-6. So then I call somebody who's also a Lions fan on the phone. Then Hutchinson gets injured, and then I get the blame for it. And to be honest, I will accept that. The fact that I randomly show up, I see the Lions winning, and then all of a sudden Aiden Hutchinson is now out for the year because of me. I'll take the blame. I'll take the fault.
It's all good. We're gonna get Myles Garrett, and it's gonna work out in the end because Cleveland's putting a for sale sign out there.
Amari Cooper to
But
Buffalo.
For real quickly, before we talk about Cleveland, because once again another show by the Browns.
Here we go.
Detroit
Kevin's gonna enjoy
that
this
is
one.
one of the most complete performances I've seen the Lions had ever in my fandom as a Lions fan. They went into Dallas, and I know Dallas was kind of banged up on defense. This offense, I mean, Ben
CeeDee Lamb's
Johnson
trash.
Ben Johnson was just
Don't know his
carving
routes.
these guys up. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop Montgomery. They couldn't stop Gibbs. Couldn't stop Amon-Ra. They couldn't stop the flea flicker to Sam Laporta. Jared Goff had a fantastic game, and this defense. 5 turnovers. This defense caused 5 turnovers, and Dak Prescott was awful again. And it was amazing to watch Dallas just get blown out in their own stadium, and then hear Jerry Jones bitch and moan after the game about the Lions and say they were just having fun with us out there. We were throwing flea flickers. We were throwing it to Taylor Decker.
You had
We were
Pen-
having
you had Pen-
Dan Skipper out in the wideout position. We were just toying
This was
with Dallas.
This was pure hatred.
We were
from the
toying with
Cowboys.
Dallas. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
I hate
after
the
last
Cowboys.
year, I wanted to
had the-
destroy them all.
You had Panay Sewell with the lateral back.
Which it
Or the-
should have counted, man. It was stupid, but
that
it was absolutely amazing. It was great seeing all these
Love to see it.
Yankees fans who are also Cowboys fans just leave the stadium
better
early,
Yankees.
and then you hear Jared Goff. Oh my God, perfect. I love it. I hate Dallas. And Jerry Jones
too.
complaining after the game. It was perfect. Happy birthday, Jerry. Go yourself.
Well done.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, shout out NFC North. Just still proving that they're the best
They are the best
division in football.
You know what
and
the top 4-point differentials are in the league?
All in the
All
NFC
in the NFC North.
Yeah, incredible. Incredible. And to the Browns.
Oh.
Let's go to the Browns now.
Do we need
Amari
to-
Cooper to Buffalo.
Miles Garrett to
Miles
Detroit.
Garrett to Detroit. It's just, guys, what is going on in Cleveland? Cleveland.
Deshaun Watson extended.
Hey, guys, Cleveland, they're really taking steamers out there, boys.
The Cleveland Steamers. Hey, they got a free win this week. It's all right.
Yeah, so with the quarterback situation, what did I say? After week 2, they need to start Jameis. And
I think we both said that,
still
Asa.
haven't. Yeah, we both did.
And they still
now-
haven't, and they've lost 4 games since.
So I'm
wonder
sitting here,
why.
I'm sitting here thinking. I mean, I'm not really much of a fan of the NFL, but I'm sitting here thinking and
It's a
going,
head scratcher.
"Wow,
Really makes you think.
they can really compete for the worst team in the NFL with Carolina and Jacksonville now, huh?"
They have the number 1 pick. in the
That'll
draft.
make you think. And so taking Shadur Sanders number 1.
They
and-
should.
Makes you think.
I hope
wow.
yeah. I hope they take Shadur Sanders and then hire Dion as like an offensive analyst or
So-
something like that.
So here's the thing.
Because it'll
with-
break Logan. It'll be hilarious.
Also, just out of Cleveland, moments ago, the stadium is not going to be happening.
Stadium is
Yeah,
gonna
it
be
is.
happening.
Oh,
The
but
one
in
in
a different
Brooks Park?
location.
yeah, they're
moving-
they're
so-
making a new
Uh,
dome.
like
in
anything
Brooks
in
Park.
Cleveland, it is not 1930 anymore. They're not going to get anything built.
No, that stadium.
There will be
happen.
barrel-
The problem
there'll-
is the product of football will not match the stadium quality.
Yet,
It'll be an Amazon warehouse outside and on the inside.
mistake on the lake. Truly, truly, truly representing. Not going to change anytime soon. Cleveland, if you're a fan of the Browns, leave town.
In all honesty, Cleveland, trading Amari Cooper, I think made sense. Amari looked done with this team. He looked done with the quarterback.
I think he was
looked
done with the
offense.
quarterback in particular.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, and when it comes down to is, I'm not crying. It's all right.
No,
and
know
I
you're not
think
crying,
and I
but
think
you
the
will
next
be.
piece to move is Zadarius Smith.
I think Zadarius Smith to Detroit.
I think
makes a lot of sense.
I legitimately think that's what's going to happen. I think the Lions are they're going to have to make a move since losing
The next
Hutchinson.
piece to move is Deshaun Watson to a court of law.
The
in my
Browns
opinion.
hope for that because
I
then they
was
don't have to
watching,
deal with them.
I'll say this.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get canceled. I'm not going to say it.
Say it.
No, I'm not. Absolutely
Okay.
not.
Okay, fine. In all honesty, though, I do think trading Amari Cooper is the first sign of the organization finally admitting that they made a mistake with Deshaun Watson. I think that's the first move of the many moves that's going to have to take place from here. Amari Cooper was on an expiring deal anyway. He didn't really get a contract extension, and honestly, I think that a lot of people, when it comes to Amari, I mean, it was the right move. He's going to Josh Allen in Buffalo. Now he's got a true wide receiver one, to help really with Keon Coleman and his development in Buffalo. But when it comes to the whole Deshaun Watson thing, I think a lot of people, specifically in the media, I think they were kind of handled by the Haslams on their own to make it seem like this team was going to be something. I personally think that this was really in the cards. I think a lot of people realized Deshaun Watson really, truly wasn't the guy that they messed up with and got that fully guaranteed deal. And I think that they're playing it exactly how they wanted it to because they realized it wasn't truly going to work. Tank it out, and draft a quarterback, and you eat that cap and you cut him at the end of the season.
Shadur Sanders.
It's not Shadur Sanders. Personally, I'm thinking Quinn Ewers or Jalen Milrose maybe an option.
I think Jaden Milroe would be a good fit. But
I'd like
gonna,
Jalen Milroe. But
I'm going to let you boys do your NFL talk. I'm going to clock out.
Okay. Clock out here for a time being. Just sit back and listen. The Browns. It is. It's full. It's rebuild time in Cleveland.
Again.
The thing is, Miles. We can talk about. Everyone's like, okay, is Myles Garrett going to be wanting out?
No.
They're not going to trade Myles Garrett unless he does want out. Because that's just how it is. But I think Myles Garrett's pretty loyal to the city of Cleveland anyway. I feel like he could have been one of those guys a long time ago that could have said he wanted out. There's only one real thing to look forward to the rest of the season, and it's that Nick Chubb comes back and see what he can do. Other than that, my Sunday will not be invested in the Cleveland Browns football. My Sunday will be invested into the rest of football. It'll be invested into whatever else.
Be an
I have
honorary
with my
Lions
life.
fan if you want.
And I'm going to be a Texans fan. Cause shout out C.J. Stroud. But Cleveland, every Cleveland Browns fan, they're showing you how it really is. They're tanking. They're tanking because they realize they messed up. And now it's time to draft your future because you had your future and you sent them on the wayside because you thought you had greener grass on the other. And you know what you had? You had dust. You had sand. You had a desert on the other side.
I can't wait for them to draft a receiver with the number 1 pick to try to give Deshaun Watson more help.
Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, number 1. Honestly, what if they do that? They draft Travis Hunter and tank one more season, and then they draft Arch Manning.
Oh, all right. Add another name to the massive list of quarterbacks Cleveland has had since 95.
Nico Iamaleava. There you go.
Nico Lama Leva. Yeah.
I'm going to want to leave a Cleveland.
I'm a wanna leave
I want to leave a Cleveland. Yeah, fair enough.
Yikes.
Can we just not talk about Cleveland ever again the rest of the season? I think that's fair.
Nope, they're going to be on
I
the
think
picks
it's fair.
every
I
week.
think it's fair as well.
And we're going to talk about them every week.
No, Logan.
Thanks, Kevin. Speaking of you and your Pittsburgh Steelers here, that they might make the transition
I think they are.
to Russell
I think-
Wilson. They haven't officially announced it yet,
In
but
fantasy,
it does
it's
sound
known.
it does
I
sound
think,
like Russell Wilson may be your starting quarterback this
And
weekend.
Justin's done a fine job.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's a huge mistake. I have nothing more to say about that. Justin has been a very solid quarterback so far. He's proved himself that he can lead this team. He's not the guy that he was in Chicago because he has an offensive line that's taking care of him. He just makes smart decisions. I mean, he's had a couple mistakes here and there, but I mean, you look at who he was in Chicago compared to what he's doing in Pittsburgh now. Like Deshaun is definitely not the answer in Cleveland. Russell is not the answer in Pittsburgh. He's on the waning end of his career. Let's keep the train rolling with a guy that's got a good 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years still ahead of him in the NFL. I think it'd be a huge mistake, but they're going to do what they're going to do, and hopefully it works out. But I would love to see Justin Fields staying in the lineup as a starting quarterback.
I think Fields has done more than enough to be their starting quarterback
agree.
moving forward. Is it maybe to try and light more of a fire under Justin Fields? Maybe. Is it maybe to push them to the media that that's what's going to happen to make Justin Fields, I wouldn't say be walking on eggshells, but maybe drive him and motivate him to become even better? Is that a possibility? And Pittsburgh's just trying to play their cards in the media and just make it seem like that when in
I don't know.
reality
Yeah,
they made up their mind? I don't know.
I just don't understand this love with Russell Wilson. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Justin Fields has been your starter. You're 4-2. You're winning. I don't understand why you would change 6-7 weeks into the season. He's done great things for you. He's had good games. It's not like Fields is playing terrible. He's done well. Just keep him on the field. It doesn't make sense to me why you're switching up all of a sudden.
Yeah, Ben
I don't get it.
Roethlisberger, former Pittsburgh Steeler, saying the exact same thing.
It doesn't make sense.
A lot of Pittsburgh people who are former Steelers are saying keep Justin Fields out there.
Yeah, because he's been playing good. Simple. And I don't understand it. Like, Russell Wilson isn't like this amazing star quarterback anymore.
Yeah.
I don't understand this love with him. It's Justin Fields. Just keep him on the field.
Yes.
That's a simple option, but it's Pittsburgh, so who knows?
I'm going to say this before we get into our picks for this week.
Guys, it may be a Cleveland type situation where they gave the guy a 1-year contract. They want to get something for their money.
That's a possibility.
That could be it. Just put him in, see how he does.
To be fair, they're not paying much for him though. They're paying
Right.
like
Paying
$1 million.
Yeah.
They're only paying $1 million. It's not like
not the $236 million that.
Denver's giving him.
Denver's paying him.
Yeah.
Denver's paying him all the money really. Pittsburgh's
Oh yeah,
not.
I'm sure Russell will be perfectly content to hang on the sideline, making money from a team that he's no longer playing
Yep.
for,
Exactly.
and getting an extra couple grand or couple mil from the Steelers.
Yes, for sure. I mean, Russ. He's no longer cooking anymore. He's at least a microwave, and even then, he might just be, an open fire ablaze.
The microwave might be broke.
He's not so unlimited anymore.
Mr. Unlimited.
He's not even
he
an
might,
air
I think he's
fryer.
very limited
He's
moving
unlimited.
forward. Yeah, the cringiest human being that's ever played in the National Football League, none other than Russell Wilson. I loved Russell Wilson in
Unlimited.
Seattle, though. He was one of my favorite players at the time. when he
Yeah,
was in
shout out
Seattle.
2014 Russ.
Yeah,
Yep.
2014 Russ. Let Russ cook.
Mhm.
Let Russ cook. But before we get into our picks and everything, I look across the National Football League. Yeah, you still got a couple undefeated teams. I don't see
I
any
think you
team.
have a undefeated team.
Yeah, you do actually only have
Just-
one left.
Yeah.
There's two.
But there's two. You have Kansas City and Minnesota.
Oh yeah, Minnesota.
Um,
Good job, boys.
I don't really see any team across the board that is great, like truly great across the board. I think
There's
the
not like this
product,
one team that's
Yeah,
like
I'm actually gonna-
outstanding.
I'm gonna say this, and I've watched very limited NFL this year. The best team that I have seen play, by far and away, are the Lions.
They're close.
And
They're
I'm
up
not
there.
just saying that to glaze Spencer over here. I'm not saying that to make anyone feel like I in all legitimacy. I think Detroit. I think that is the best team in football right now. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I really
You're
mean
actually so correct. I think they are too now. The way they're playing.
that. I
mean,
really there's
I thought
no-
Houston originally, but I think I might start pivoting over to the Detroit Lions.
Like offense and defense is just like wow.
No, they really are though. They really are.
Incredible run game, incredible defense.
Losing Hutchinson really hurts this team.
Okay,
But-
maybe.
We'll have to see how they.
But you still have an offense that
The offense is healthy, and that's the main thing. This team's strength is the offense, and the defense, the secondary has been better. Safety duo has been great. The corners have been doing better. Linebackers have been better. The defensive line, the interior is very good with Elaine McNeil and DJ Reader. It's just the DNs. How are they going to fix the DN situation with Marcus Davenport and Aiden Hutchinson out for the year, who were your starting defensive ends at the beginning of the season? I think they should go trade for a dude. Obviously, I don't think they're not gonna go trade for Max Crosby. Would I love it? Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd trade 3 first-round picks for him. I don't care. There's teams in a Super Bowl window. I don't need the 29th, 28th pick. I don't care. Go get me a player that's gonna give me 15 sacks a game to go alongside Aiden Hutchinson. But they have to make a move. This team has to go get a defensive end. Do not tell me that this Isaiah Thomas dude from Cleveland's practice squad is the answer. Do not tell me that. No. You
I
need
think
to
he
go
is.
do that.
I
need to see how this defensive line performs. Because, yeah, the Lions have arguably the most talent in the league. But I need to see for that defensive line, especially the edge rushers on Sunday. And they have that's a damn good matchup. So, why don't we get to the picks?
Yeah, let's get to the picks.
Let's get to the picks.
Let's get to the picks here for you guys.
Run through it quick.
Starting off here with college football. Our first game this week is none other than Miami at Louisville this weekend. 6th ranked Hurricanes going to Louisville, Kentucky. It'll be a noon kickoff on ABC. Tyler Shaw and company in Louisville, they just like to toy with some of these ranked teams. Miami, they're really good. They've got Cameron Ward. But they've been kind of shaky from time to time. You can't be shaky 2 weeks in a row, let alone 3 weeks in a row, and you not slip up. Go Cards. Give me Louisville to upset the Hurricanes this weekend. The U goes down.
Yeah, no. The U this year is my Washington pick last year. It's all about the U. Louisville's ass.
Yeah, Louisville's not the team that
We
they
thought
think,
we are.
Yeah,
They
that they think they are, and Miami's just too good. They have an incredible offense, so give me Miami.
Yep.
Kevin. Yep, there it is. There
No
it
one
is.
likes
Easy as
that. No
Easy
one
as
likes
that.
to see the Canes. That's all right. Moving on here to this next matchup, we have one of Ace's favorite teams here, Nebraska, going on the road to Bloomington, Indiana, to take on the undefeated and 16th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers. This is not basketball, by the way. This is Fox Big Noon kickoff game on Saturday as well. Nebraska, they have, to me, the better talent overall in Dylan Raiola at quarterback. That Nebraska, you're talking about a stout team, a team that is on their way up in the Big Ten Conference in the future. I think they have a bright future. And Indiana does too with Kurt Signetti as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think Indiana's got lightning in a bottle with Curtis Rourke and what they've got there brewing down there in Bloomington. Give me the Hoosiers to beat the Huskers at home.
No, I'll take the team with more talent, the better overall team. I think Indiana's good, but I think they've just played a terrible schedule. They haven't really played anybody, and Nebraska has had some tough teams so far this season. I'm gonna trust Dylan Raiola, and I'll trust the more experienced Matt Rule. So yeah, give me Nebraska.
Do you ever think I would pick Nebraska to win any game ever? Absolutely not. Give me the best team in the Big Ten.
The best team in the Big
Oh,
Ten,
boy.
the Indiana Hoosiers. They would beat Oregon right now?
I think they will.
Huh.
In what sense?
Every.
Curtis Rourke,
Curtis Rourke.
500 yards passing.
Kev?
The Corn Man himself?
As a former Indiana student, one of the 5 universities I attended before finally getting my college degree, I've watched them go from being a strictly basketball school, and I've slowly over the years watched them develop their football program. And I want to see if they're the real deal this weekend, and I'm going to give them the nod. I take it They're going to take down Nebraska in Bloomington this weekend.
I think they easily can. As we have another big-time matchup in the Big Ten, you got the 24th ranked Michigan Wolverines going to Champaign, Illinois to take on the 22nd ranked Luke Altmyers of the world. The Illinois Fighting Illini, 3:30 kickoff on CBS. I don't think Illinois is actually all that good. I don't really believe in Illinois. I think Luke Altmyer is better than some people want to give him credit for. I am targeting you, Andrew, if you're watching this right now. But I think Michigan, they're going to beat Illinois. Michigan's going to beat Illinois. There's no way they don't. I think that, I don't know. I just don't believe in Illinois beating Michigan. Just doesn't sound right, does it?
Yeah, and I actually believe in a passing game. So give me the actual quarterback that can throw the ball 20 yards down the field. I'll take Illinois. Michigan is a terrible, terrible offensive team. They cannot score anything, and Illinois is better than them.
That's the point. Michigan's going to score 3. It's going to be just enough.
3-0?
Yeah, it's gonna be
Okay,
just
sure.
enough.
Yeah, I'll take the team that can actually throw the ball.
So Michigan, beatable. Lost to a mid-Washington team. Illinois is them. Champagne's a lovely town. Give me Illinois.
It's a lovely drink as well, by the way. We don't condone alcoholic beverages around here. Kevin, what's your pick?
Logan, I know the only reason you picked Michigan is because you know if you pick them, they're going to lose. Illinois, the Illini, going to take them down.
Hey, that's not fully true. It's not fully true. Not fully true. Hey, I was the first one with the pick submitted, Kevin. So maybe I did think Michigan's actually going to win. That's okay. Moving on here to our next matchup. Another big one for Toledo this weekend. They go to DeKalb, a team that they love to lose at. The Northern Illinois Huskies. 3:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. You know, last week I went against the grain like others would and pick against the Rockets to lose to Buffalo. This week, I think they bounce back. Give me the Rockets on the road in NIU territory. I think the Rockets get it done this week. I think they bounce back, and I think they find their groove again.
Yeah, Toledo needs to win this game. Their next 2 games are arguably the most important of the season with NIU and Bowling Green. 2 very good teams, and if you want to win the MAC, you have to win these games. So I'll take Toledo just because they lose this game. They're not winning the MAC. So
That's fair. Well, boys, corn does well on a wide variety of soils, but preferably it does best on loam and silt. And you need a place to send your corn at the end of the year, and DeKalb is that town. So for that reason, give me Northern Illinois. Also has one of the biggest and largest companies for sending your corn at DeKalb Corn Processing. So there you go, boys.
And now we're going to send it over to the corn man himself.
I don't know how I can follow that. Ace's reasoning is so spot on.
So spot on. It is spot on. It's
You
perfect.
know, a few weeks ago we were thinking, we should have game day in DeKalb for this game. It was looking like you had 2, top 25 giant crushers. But am I keeping you awake, Logan?
No, definitely not. You're talking about what? This was a college game day game? What?
Yeah, well,
NIU was ranked.
as much as I would love to pick Toledo in this game, NIU for so many years has been the Achilles heel of Toledo. We're going to DeKalb. Back when I was a student here filming games for Rocket Replay, our old coaches show, I got the pleasure to go out to DeKalb and watch a game. It's a hostile environment.
Awful facilities, by the way.
Yeah, it's not the great. It's a glorified high school stadium, but they get a rowdy crowd there. I really want to see Toledo bounce back after their loss last weekend, but I just don't see it happening. I got to go with NIU in this game.
I only chose NIU because I didn't want to jinx it. So I truly take Toledo, but I'm a little scared.
I thought you took NIU because their corn is just so amazing. They have the best corn in DeKalb, Illinois, right?
No.
It's actually in our control room in Kevin O'Corn.
Yeah.
He's the real corn.
He's the real corn.
The best
real
corn is
corn.
obviously in the state of Iowa.
Oh, you guys.
Moving
All right,
on
let's
to
move
this next
Corn
game.
is corn.
We have the third Saturday in October. A very, very slept-on college football rivalry that's got really rejuvenated here in the last few
Yep.
years. Number 7, the Alabama Crimson Tide go to Knoxville, Tennessee, to Rocky Top to take on the 11th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers. 3:30 kickoff on ABC. This game, you know, y'all know how I love my Tennessee Volunteers from time to time. We had it happen just 2 years ago. You had one of the
Last
games.
time was in Knoxville.
Last time, yes, it was in Knoxville. Maybe one of the best college games of this generation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bama and Tennessee right now are both looking rocky. But when both teams look rocky, there's one that comes out on top. Give me the Volunteers to beat the Crimson Tide this weekend.
Nice wordplay. Yeah. So 2 years ago, me and Logan were calling the Toledo game, and we were paying attention to this game. And as we were walking back into Rocket Hall, Tennessee kicked the game-winning field goal. We jumped up and down, ran down the halls, yelling singing Rocky Top,
That's
and
true.
playing it in the halls
That's
of Rocket Hall. And because of that, Rocky Top, baby. Let's go Volunteers.
That's very true. I remember that day because I remember in the podcast.
We were so excited, jumping up and down. Rocky
I think
Top,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I was the only one who picked Tennessee in that upset,
Yep,
too.
you were. But I was
th-
hoping
that,
Tennessee
That was
would
the
win.
year before. I was like, Tennessee's going to be the surprise of the SEC
Yep.
this season.
Yep.
And, you know, they ended up doing it that
Rocky
year.
Top, baby.
The Corn Man. We have two
man,
Corn Man, actually, on
so-
this pod. It's kind of crazy. It's
Mhm.
very unique.
Yeah, for sure. So, I love Tennessee. They're my SEC school. I say I love them, but I still hate the SEC. But Alabama is mad, dude. Alabama is mad, and Jade Milroe is him. I hate saying Bama's gonna win, but Bama's gonna win.
This one gives me the vibe that you did choose Bama, so that way we didn't have a clean sweep.
Maybe. Maybe.
Kevin?
Well, let's see what I picked, and let's see if that comes true.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
If there's one, you know, I can never choose Michigan. I can never choose Bama. They're going to be singing Rocky Top,
That's right.
That's
and
right.
they're
I
going to be
hope
singing it from
so.
the top of their lungs because
The
Alabama
goalpost
has
going to
shown.
be in the Tennessee River again this year?
I hope so. But, you know, I think Alabama has shown that they're beatable. You know,
Yep.
They're very beatable.
crawling out of South Carolina last weekend. You know, they are beatable, and I think
Losing to Vandy.
I think Tennessee's going to take it to them at home.
Moving on to our last college game and maybe the game of the season this weekend. The number 5 ranked Georgia Bulldogs go down to Austin to take on the number 1 ranked Texas Longhorns. And, you know, this game, it has a lot of playoff implications. This is a game you could see happen 2 or 3 times this year. I don't know what's funny around here. Something's funny. But
Just love
You know.
Spencer.
just
right.
Spencer.
Love Lisa.
This the Georgia Bulldogs coming into this season, they have not looked like a back-to-back national champion from 2 years past.
No.
Well, they didn't win. There's no way they can do back-to-back this year, buddy.
Well, no, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
from 2
okay.
years past because Michigan won the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you watched that game?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
But this program, they just got a lot of off-the-field concerns I don't like around Georgia.
Just pick
Yeah,
Texas.
man.
It's constant.
Yeah, just pick a team, though.
just
Pick
pick a team.
Texas and move
Just
on.
pick Texas and move on. Who says I'm going to pick Texas? The graphic says I'm picking Texas. Go Longhorns.
The eyes of Texas are with you. So, hook 'em horns. I will never cheer for Georgia after what happened with Ohio State a few years ago. Screw you, Javen Bullard. Yeah, horns up.
Yeah, I hate both of these schools. Really hate Texas. Really hate Georgia. But gotta go with Texas on this one because I hate Georgia even more. So
Fair enough.
I'm going to go
Corn.
against the grain here, guys. I'm picking an upset. Georgia's going to take down Texas,
Texas.
and that's why I went 500 last week.
Honestly, you could be right though.
Yeah.
This game, it really could. I mean, they don't look this Texas since Quinn Ewers has came back. Yeah, they had a rough start early on against Oklahoma. Kind of found their groove.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a true test now. I mean, Oklahoma.
This is a great game.
This is probably going to be second or first best game of the entire season, and I expect them to see each other probably again at least one more time. Let's get into our NFL picks for this week as well. First game is we have Houston Texans at Lambeau Field taking on the Green Bay Packers, 1 o'clock on CBS. This one's a tough one to pick. It is in Lambeau Field, but regardless, I have to go with my preseason love. Give me the Houston Texans.
Yeah, the NFC North is not nice, and they all have to be so good because, of course, can't have nice things as a Lions fan. So, of course, the Packers are going to win because they hate to see me happy, and they hate to see Lions fans happy.
Yeah, the best conference or best division in all of the NFL. Got to go with the Packers.
Give me the Packers.
Yep. And
Easy.
They could. I mean, this one is probably one of my favorite games of the entire weekend.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love,
That'll be fun.
elite youth at the quarterback position.
Yep.
Moving on to our next matchup here, we have the Seattle Seahawks kind of falling off against the grain a little bit as they travel to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta to take on the Falcons. That's a 1 o'clock game on Fox. Seattle, they've kind of fallen along the wayside. They still could win this game, but I like the trajectory of this Falcons team with Kirk Cousins leading them. Give me the Falcons to beat Seattle.
Falcons, next.
Falcons.
Falcons.
All right, congrats, Seattle.
Right. There's the clean sweep. There's the clean
The
sweep.
B&B curse goes to the Seahawks.
It does. Every week, literally
Yep.
every week. Next matchup here, Ravens at the Buccaneers, Monday Night Football on ABC. We have 2 Monday night games this weekend, as we also have the Chargers and Cardinals at 9 o'clock. But this Monday night game in particular stands out, as you have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry and company going down to Baker Mayfield territory. And you know what? Everything that's going to go against Cleveland might as well just keep going with it, right? Give me the Buccaneers. Give me Baker Mayfield and company. And I like the creamsicle. Shout out Kevin O'Korn with the creamsicle color.
Baltimore's playing really good right now. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Derrick Henry's on an absolute tear, and this offense is just going to keep it going. So, yeah, give me Baltimore.
I watched a really cute video on Prime of Baker Mayfield in disguise with Tampa Bay fans, and I don't know enough about either of these teams, but for the cute video I watched, give me Tampa Bay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At
Kevin.
home with Baker Mayfield.
I like Baker Mayfield so much, I actually considered rooting for the Browns when he was with the Browns. And I'm a Steelers fan. But give me the Ravens.
The old Cleveland Browns, the old Cleveland Browns. Nothing wrong with that.
I know it pains me to pick the Ravens, but I think they're gonna take it to the Buccaneers this weekend.
Oh, yeah, look at this game.
Sunday night football on NBC. Shout out Carrie Underwood. 8:20 kickoff. You have the New York Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game is
They could have had these games. They could have had all these games to flex out, but they kept this game on Sunday night.
dumpster fire
no
of a
kidding.
game. Dumpster fire of a game. Aaron Rodgers and company in New York.
Devontae
Congratulations. Congrats on Devontae Adams. Does he make a difference, though?
Nope.
I'll say this. My pick is Pittsburgh on the graphic, so you can throw up the graphic. I have the Steelers winning this game. If Russell Wilson plays this game, I have the Jets winning. If Justin Fields plays this game, I have Pittsburgh winning. Fun fact. But Pittsburgh because of Justin Fields.
What Logan said. If Fields plays Pittsburgh, I have Pittsburgh on the graphic because that's, when I put this in, that's what was told. But if Russell Wilson is it, no, New York will win. So, but right now, Steelers.
Green is my favorite color.
All right.
Good reason.
Who do you think I'm picking here?
The Jets, of course.
Jets.
Jets. All right, let's get
Thank
into
you for the Jets pick. That means the Steelers will win. Thank you, Asa.
That's true.
All right, here we go.
Bengals
The
next.
Battle of Ohio.
Bengals next.
So real quickly,
next.
I did choose the Bengals, but then I forgot that the Browns always beat the Bengals. So
Bengals.
I know it says Bengals on the graphic. I'm actually going to change my pick to the Browns because I forgot about the
Bengals
curse. So
next.
I'll take the Browns.
Bengals next.
I have not gone against this team since Ball and Beats picking has started and I've been on the show. So I have the Browns winning. I think both of these teams are trash this year, I mean,
It's in Cleveland.
Yeah.
You guys will get a win.
Bengals next. Thank you,
Bengals.
Kevin. Thank you,
I wanted
Kevin.
to say something fun and cute and get up your
It's
hopes
just
that I was actually
depressing,
gonna root
Kev.
for
It's
the-
now it's just depressing.
Yeah, it is.
I'll honestly next episode I might wear a brown paper bag.
You should.
Oh,
If they
I-
lose, you should wear a brown paper bag over.
I'll decorate it for you, buddy.
Decorate it. Oh, that'll even be maybe. Ooh, yes, I like that idea. Final game of the weekend. This is, of course, the game of the week, right? 1:00 kickoff on Fox. Detroit Lions and the Sam Darnold-led Minnesota Vikings. Who would have thought saying in 2024 that Sam Darnold might be the best quarterback in the NFL the way he's playing right now? For that reason, I'm taking the Lions to knock off the Vikings this weekend. You know, the way the Lions played in Detroit, I mean, that says a lot. I know that they're without Hutchinson for the rest of the season. But in Minnesota, yes, is playing exceptional ball. But there's a time and a place to where they have to slip up at some point, and I think it's right here for the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions. This team played really damn good in Dallas, and like you said, I know they lost Hutchinson, but this team, they have a deep team, and their defensive edge will not be as good, but their interior is still good. Their offense is still really damn good, and I know Minnesota blitzes a lot, but they're gonna have to blitz against the best offensive line in all of football. So I'm gonna go. Let's go Lions. Let's go Lions. Let's take down the Vikings. And Asa picked.
well, my dad's favorite team is the Vikings, and I like Prince.
I like purple.
I like purple. I like trains.
Go Lions.
That's right. Go Lions,
Go
Kev.
Go Lions is all right, and that's all right. That's going to be a wrap on this episode of the Ball and Beats podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that push notification bell to stay up to date on all new videos. Next week, if we have one next week, it's going to be a good episode. Because all of these are good episodes, aren't they?
They're fantastic.
They're fantastic.
Have a good time.
Have a good time. Have a good life.
Let's go Lions.
We're never going to see you again. Have a good life.
Have a good life. Goodbye.
We'll see y'all next week. Take care and peace.